There we go, guys. Welcome. Good morning. I think some of you have already joined us and you're typing in the chat. Good morning, guys. Let me know if you guys can see and hear me. Type a GM for good morning. All right. Let me just acknowledge all of you for just being early today. Welcome to our Friday weekly Ask Me Any Stock session. In short, AMAS. Let me know. Good morning, Vian. Let's see who is here. Ting. Hi, good morning as well. Joseph. Hi, Sophie. Good morning. And asking about Capitaland Invest. Obviously, you can cover that later as well. Good morning as well. Boon Huat. Hi, Janet. Vincent. Hi, Andy. Good to see you as well. Hi, Wasong. Good morning. Good morning. All right. So good, guys. This is working. Welcome to the live session. We're live now on YouTube and on Facebook, right? So before we begin, guys, would it be okay if you guys help me to, just like and share, right? Help me to like and share this stream right now. If you're on Facebook, hit the share button. If you're on YouTube as well, just give me some heart-shaped likes. Make sure you subscribe already to the YouTube channel, all right? So that when we go live in the future, you will be alerted as well. All right. Thank you so much. That will really help out the channel as well. Good morning, David. Hi, Stephen. Morning. Okay, good. So welcome. All right, let's get started. Let's get started today. And today, we'll be diving back into the Singapore market, right? The Singapore market. Why? Because every Friday we go live, right? And we alternate between the US and the Singapore. So last Friday was US, so today is back to Singapore. So if you are looking at anything to do with the Singapore market, Singapore stocks, all right, DBS, whatever Singapore stocks, right, then you're in the right place, all right? And later, what we do is we do a quick market outlook, all right? Maybe you look at the STI, Singapore's Straits Times Index, right? Let's take a look at the market, right? What has happened? What are some of the key levels for the entire market? What are some of the key supports that have came out whereby we are starting to see some bargain hunting coming back as well, all right? And how does the market look as we hit to the end of 2025, right? And maybe into 2026 as well. So look at the STI, since today is the Singapore market. And after that, what happens is that we will dive into the Singapore stocks that you guys want a quick opinion on as well. So I know some of you are already typing in the Singapore stocks that you want a quick opinion, right? Very good. But what happens is this, guys, you want to give us some context, right? Give us some context like about the stock that you're asking about, right? So if you're talking about UOB, like what do you want to know about UOB? Like you want to buy, you want to sell, you bought last week, what price, last month, you keep for 10 years already. Let us know a bit of context so that when we kind of look at the stock, it's a bit more, I would say, personalized to you, rather than I also don't know what you want to do. Does it make sense about, right? So that's why we'll give more priority if you actually take the time to fill up a bit of context, right? Whether is it like Sophie, like let me see, son, hi, Q&M, listen, what about Q&M do you want to know about? Are you looking to buy? You bought last week, last month? You want to sell? What do you want? Right? No idea, right? Q&M. So give us a bit of context. That is where we will give you a bit more priority. We will definitely try our best to pull out those stocks, all right, that you guys are asking about, and we put it out in the chat and we try to go through that, right? So that's what will happen later as well after doing a quick outlook on the STI. Okay, very good. Now, let's go ahead right now, introduce my team as well. And okay, sorry, one thing before I forget. So after going through all the stocks, we try to cover about 15 over stocks each time, right? So our apologies if we cannot cover all of it because, guys, each time we do a live session every Friday, you can do a quick count, more than 60 over stocks, all right? So really no time to cover everything. We do our best, okay? But if you really cannot cover, hopefully you can join us the next one again, all right? And that's where you could, hopefully you can cover that, right? Or maybe you could also have access to our 1GT indicator. I'll talk more about it later as well. And you guys can even, do it yourself and see how it looks like for your stocks, right? Whether are they bullish or even bearish signals as well, okay? So stay all the way to the end because at the end, that's where, me, Bervin and Z, my team who is joining me today, will actually share with you, all right, one Singapore stock each. So three of us here, so three Singapore stocks that we are, is in our watch list that could potentially be more upside. You can put it in your watch list as well. So that will be at the end. All right. So make sure you stay all the way to the end if you want to know what are the three Singapore bonus stocks that we like that could potentially offer even more upside. All right. Okay. So let me go introduce my team. Right. And by the way, guys, if we have not met, my name is Joey. Right. Joey Choy, top tier retail trader in Philip Securities. I've been doing this for more than 15 years now, using my strategy that I call the one good trend strategy. What is this strategy about? As the name sounds, right? One good trend. Right. one, not two, not five, not 10, right? One. That means essentially we are looking at just one solid, strong, good trend to really maximize our profits if we get the necessary confirmations, right? Apart from the bullish signals that we are looking at. So based on this one good trend strategy, I've developed what we call the one good trend pro indicator, right? That we'll be using later to analyze the stocks that you are asking about. All right. And you can see our thought process as well. We try to talk a little bit about strategy and stuff. But that's essentially the strategy that me and my team have been using for the past, for me, 15 over years, for my team, more than 5 over years. I have Bervin and Z over here with me as well, right? So if you're looking at stocks, you're in the right place. That's my forte, whereby, I pretty much focus on Singapore, US, a bit of Hong Kong stocks as well, right? But now, let me go to introduce my team member who is here with me. We have Bervin, right? Bervin, who has been with me, one of the top brokers, traders under me in Phillip Securities for more than 5 years now, assisting our team's group coaching session as well, our one-on-one session with our mentees, and also assisting our team's portfolio manager running what we call a 7-figure fund management business as well. All right, and Bervin is a chartered financial analyst holder, basically is one of the highest qualification one can ever get in the banking and finance space, right? So CFA, right? I don't even have it, right? And Bervin have it. So sometimes I do consult him a little bit on the fundamentals as well. Very strong, right, in that regard, Bervin. Right. So let me just go to pass on the mic to Bervin to share a little bit of himself, all right, and maybe how he could add value to you guys today. All right, Bervin, yours.
All right. Thanks, Joey, for the introduction. Hi, guys. Welcome back to our weekly AMAS Ask Me or Ask Any Stocks session. So like Joey said, today we are going to cover the Singapore market. I think quite a few of those earnings have already came out if you guys have been following closely. Some good, some not too good, but I think some open up a little bit of a window for some profit taking or some bargain hunting. So a little bit about myself. Yes, like Joey said, I'm a CFA charter holder, but simply put it, I just like to look at companies' balance sheet, income statement versus the general economic environment. All right, so I think today we are going to try to dive in for as many stocks as possible. All right, maybe like 15 to 18 stocks as per usual, but do bear with us because sometimes there's too many stocks, we cannot cover them all, but we will very, very quickly use the 1GT framework and the 1GT signals, to get a quick opinions from the chart. So I believe Joey doesn't have any more webinar this year. All right, let Joey take a break as well. Okay, so he will resume next year as well. So do keep a lookout. Do keep a lookout for the webinar that is coming out next year. I think very, very exciting there as well. All right, so without further ado, I'll pass the time back to Joey to introduce Z as well.
All right, thank you so much, Bervin. All right, so Bervin, as I say, right, he is, I would say, very strong fundamentally, but Bervin also is very, very proficient, right, in the entire one good trend strategy, right? He knows exactly how the one good trend strategy works. He knows exactly, right, on the entire one good trend pro indicator as well, and that is coupled with his FA fundamental knowledge. So very, very powerful there, right? And let me go ahead to introduce another team member of mine, Z, who has been with me for more than 5 years now. One of the top brokers, traders in Phillip Securities as well under me, and assisting our team's portfolio manager as well, running what we call a 7-figure fund management business, assisting our one-on-one calls with our mentees, conducting our group coaching session as well with our graduates, right? So Z is, a person who I do consult as well for charting, right? Anything to do with charts, right? Candlestick, price action, patterns, whatever you call it, she's an expert, right? So she's a chartered market technician since last year, all right? And let me pass on the mic to Z to just share a little bit on herself. Z, yours?
All right, thanks, Joey. Hi, everybody. My name is Z. Nice to see you guys. For those who are new here, so I've been working closely with Joey for over 5 years now, and I think during my first 2 years with him, I also went to pursue my charter market technician, like what he mentioned, right? So basically, that just means that I look at chart a lot, lah. But when looking at chart, right, the thing about that is that if you add too many indicators, right, you might be very confused, right? You will get analysis paralysis. But whereas, with Joey's 1GT Pro indicator, right, with just one indicator, you get to see the trend, you get to see a quick opinion, whether there's a bullish and bearish signal. So it's very clean and it's very simple, right? But I mean, of course, for myself, even though I have a chartered market technician, I don't look at chart all day, right? In my free time, I'm just like any of you guys, just scrolling through social media like TikTok, enjoying food, being a big foodie and having a sweet tooth, right? So yeah, with all that eating, I also really enjoy keeping myself active. So that's just a very quick one about me. Without further ado, I'll pass the time back over to Joey to actually kickstart today's session.
All right, thank you so much. And there we go, right? Three of us right up here, Joey, Bervin, and Z. Let's get started with today's session, Singapore AMAS session. Let's get started, right? But before we do that, quick disclaimer. Whatever that's being shared by me, Bervin, and Z, just for education purposes only, right? So please do your own due diligence, right? Not asking you to buy or sell anything or not to buy or not to do anything. It's up to you, all right? We show you the process. We show you the tools that we're using every single day. You control your own decisions. Sounds fair? All right, Ken? So let's get started right now and let's pull up my chart. And how many of you want me to cover what we call the STI? All right, type of S in the chat if you want me to cover the Singapore Straits Times Index. Type of S for Straits Times for Singapore also can. Right, type S in chat, let me know. All right, there we go. S. Thank you so much, Alex. All right, Gary, Happy Creature. Thank you so much, John, Victor. All right, very familiar names you see almost every Friday as well. Thank you so much for joining and for supporting this live session as well. All right, thank you so much. Joy Peace, Victor. Okay, very good. So let's quickly take a look at the market, the Singapore Straits Times Index. So if you look at the Singapore market, well, it looks a little bit different from the US, the S&P 500 index, whereby we saw quite a massive sell down in April due to Trump tariffs. Singapore was pretty resilient. We saw a very strong rebound, I would say, since June, July, August. Right? Of course, a bit of weakness here and there. When Trump said something, the market, US came down and then Singapore also came down a bit. But overall, Singapore has been in a very, very strong longer term uptrend since last year. Just take a look at the red 100 days moving average line and the blue 200 days moving average line. These two lines have been pointing up not last week or last month, since last year already. We have been in a very strong longer term uptrend. And somewhere around June, July, August, that massive move really started. Why? Because I think we have shared as well in our Friday weekly 2 weeks back that MAS, right, Monetary Authority of Singapore, kind of introduced what we call the Equity Market Development Program, right? Equity Market, EMDS, right? In short form, Equity Market Development Program. So they've kind of like earmarked $5 billion of funds to be, kind of like deployed with fund managers buying into what we call Singapore equities and curating portfolios, allowing more people, more institutional investors, more retail investors to buy into these funds. So I think they have kind of like chosen 3 fund managers already, right? Fullerton, Avanda Investment Management, I think Fullerton, or even JP Morgan would be some of the fund managers, right? And they're looking to deploy another 3.9 billion. So I think $1.1 billion was earmarked about a few months back. Now there's additional $3.9 billion that is yet to be earmarked to be deployed to more fund managers. And that kind of like spurred the entire market, whereby, we're seeing not just a few hundred, million, right? But essentially $5 billion, all right, of funds they will pour into the Singapore equity market, right? And there's a lot of money, right? And also there's a lot of initiatives regarding bring funds into like research analysts to cover not just the big blue chip stocks like the banks that everybody know about, DBS on that, but also some of the small to big caps. And that's why we started to see a lot of strength since June, July, August on not just the big caps, but also the small to mid caps. All right. So this is what we're seeing for the market. So Singapore market has been pretty resilient, pretty strong. In fact, I would say that in my more than 18 over years in the market, Singapore market specifically, this would be one of the strongest, I would say, one of the strongest rally that I've seen over the past 4 to 5 months. Even stronger than post-COVID. I think COVID, right? After post-COVID, we saw a very strong rebound as well. But the past 5-6 months, easily one of the strongest, I would say, 5 months that I've seen in the market. And that is due, right, pretty much to this news flow on the Equity Market Development Program that is still ongoing. All right, it could even be at the beginning phase as more and more measures are introduced to shore up the entire Singapore market. All right, so that is kind of the market. So let's take a look at the technicals of the STI right now. So I mentioned that the long-term trend for the market is up, but doesn't mean your long-term trend up means forever you go up, right? Sometimes along the way you can see some weakness. Look at this, you get a bearish signal, it comes down for 1 week. All right, same thing over here. You got a bearish signal, it comes down for maybe 1-2 weeks. Does it make sense? Over here we got a bearish signal. That was Trump tariffs, right? We come down for 1 week as well. Right? So every time we get a bearish signal, we do see a bit of weakness in the short term. But the question is that when a new bullish signal appears, what happens, right? There we go, right? A bullish signal appeared in April. Bullish signal. Seems like we got another new bullish signal coming out yesterday. All right. So what do you guys think so far? All right. I mean, whether you will like, take and up again, I don't know lah. But do you guys think that it could be a little bit more bullish now that we got a new 1GT bullish signal, like what we've seen over the past 6 to 7 months? In April, bullish signal, August, bullish signal, and it starts going up, right? So I think not too bad. We are definitely looking a bit more bullish compared to 2-3 weeks back when the bearish signal actually appeared, right? And that was where we saw some tensions between US and China. Right, China introduced the rare earth minerals export ban. Trump threatened to increase tariff by 100% from 1st November. Of course, that has been resolved because last week they met in Korea and talk. All right, and then after that, they delay the whole kind of like agreement to delay it. Right, so that's been resolved. All right, and now the market's getting a little bit more bullish. Of course, in the US right now, we saw a bit of weakness because of valuations of some of the AI tech firms like Nvidia. So a bit of profit taking in that, which I think is normal because they've been pushing up by quite a fair bit. So a bit of profit taking here and there, but for the Singapore market, you can see that we got a new 1GT bullish signal. And we are in fact attempting to break this resistance level. Just want to write it down, right? Look at this, right? Over the past few days, this 4480, right? 4480 would be a very key psychological resistance level, right? If you want to give a little bit of allowance, well, just put like 4,500. I say again, 4,500. Today we are like 4491. Now it's 4492. Okay, it's live, guys, so it's moving now. So we are like kind of like just around 4,500 So if we can break the 4,500, we stay above it. I mean, now it's Friday so nothing much really. But next week all right, next Monday, next Tuesday, next 1-2 weeks, if we can stay above the 4,500 new support level, I would say that this 1GT bullish signal could continue to play out, all right? If the short-term trend, just by looking at the green line, starts to also reverse back up, something like what we saw over here. Look at the green line. It starts to turns back up. Same thing over here. The green line starts to turn back up. That means the short-term trend starts to turn back up. Well, that would be another confirmation as well, if you can stay above 4,500. So today is only one day. Right now it's like 4,491, slightly below it, a bit of profit taking, perfectly normal, or because yesterday we saw some selling in the US market, right? But just watch this level, 4,500, guys. If we stay above that 4,500, there could be more upside momentum to the market. We would have got out of this 1-over-month consolidation phase, and we're poised to hit even higher. All right, so that is the STI. Cool. Okay, now, very simple. Let me go ahead to cover the very first Singapore stock for today. So very simple, guys. We'll do a round robin style. I'll go first. All right, I haven't looked at the chat yet. I'll just choose one first. Then after, I'll pass on the mic to Burbit, and then Burbit will pass to Z, and then pass back to me again. Right, so we do it very quickly, maybe 1-2 minutes per stock. We try to cover as many as possible. Right, so let me go ahead to choose one stock. Just give me some time to choose. I haven't got time to look at all the chat. So thank you so much, guys. I see a lot of you are already typing in. So guys, you can see there's easily more than 30, 40. Later will be more than 50, 60, stocks. So we do our best to cover. I'll try to pick those that we can probably learn something as well. All right. Okay, so let me go to pick one. Let's see what will be the very first stock for today. Let me see. So many stock. Okay, I'll just choose one randomly. Okay, Ken. I think you saw one on YZJ Financial Holding, right? I think Andy is asking about YZJ. Where is it? YZJ Financial Holding. So guys, so many messages I'm trying to find. Also, apologies, because so many messages. Okay, I saw it here, right up here. There we go. Anytime. Thank you so much, Andy, for giving us a bit of context. YZJ. Okay, let me just pull out the stock. YZJ. Let me pull out my watch list. Where is it? YZJ Financial Holding. There we go. Okay, there we go. YZJ Financial Holding. The code is YF8, right? Okay. You bought at 1.21. YZJ Finance now has fallen drastically. Yep, indeed. Not drastically, but yeah, I mean, it's fallen a bit, right? Though offered 1-for-1, Maritime, but I believe it'll fall further. Should I sell now or continue to hold for the CE? Yeah, so I think for this YZJ Financial Holding, those of you who have been following the news, I think they're doing a bit of a spin-off between like YZJ Maritime, all right? It's still, I'm not too sure exactly when is the date, but to keep things simple, guys, you can see that. Let me know, guys, what do you guys think about YZJ Financial Holding right now? Buy, type B for buy, type due for wait, guys. Let me know. Time to check. What do you guys think about YZJ Financial Holding? Maybe you can help me out to help Andy. What do you guys think about YZJ Financial Holding? Buy or wait? Just by looking at this. If you're looking to buy. All right. Let's see. Gloria, wait. All right, wait. Right. Thank you so much for saying wait. Right, and that's what I hope you'll say as well, right? Why wait? Why? Because you can clearly see, guys, that for YZJ Financial Holding, we did actually have what we call a 1 GT bearish signal actually appearing, right? Not yesterday or last week. I think, in fact, since like 17th October, which is like last week, 3 weeks ago, right? So it's like 17th October, we got a 1 GT bearish signal, all right? And it started to, came down a little bit. Now it's about 106. We kind of like broke the 110. So 3 weeks ago, we got a 1 GT bearish signal. And if you take a look at the green 20 days moving average line, all right, it actually started to turn down a little bit even before the 1 GT bearish signal came up. All right, so the green line, the short-term trend was actually turning down. That was one confirmation of a bit of weakness. But if you get another bearish signal whereby it did break what we call the trailing support level, it just shows that there's some heavy selling coming back. Right? Let me show you what I mean by the trailing support. Let me turn it on. So this is the One Good Trend Pro indicator, right? Where me, Bavin, and Zee have been using, all right? And in a matter of seconds, we can turn on the bullish and bearish signals. Look at this, right? So this is a blank chart pump. This is what most people will be looking at, all right? In fact, most people will be looking at this, all right? Let me just off everything. And there we go, right? Most people will be looking at a chart like this. And to be honest, for me, I'm still okay with it because I can do manual analysis, right? That's what I've been doing for the past 10 over years. But of course, with an indicator, it just makes it so much simpler for me. Sometimes I'm also a bit lazy, but this is what most people will be looking at, all right? And most people have no idea what to do with this thing that you're looking at, right? Because it's a blank chart. It's a blank chart, right? But with a few ticks in the boxes, that is where we get clarity, all right, of exactly what this stock is doing. Should we buy? Should we hold? Should we wait? Let's turn on the moving averages. Pump. There we go. We get the 3 moving averages that allows us to get an idea of the long-term trend and the short-term trend of this stock. Another box, pump, allows us to see if there's any bullish or bearish signals in seconds. 4 boxes turn on, and there we go, right? So for YZJ Financial Holding, what I could say is that the longer term trend is up. No problem. Look at the red and blue lines. No problem. That one I give it to you. No problem. The long term trend is up. But do you guys agree with me that the short term trend is pointing down? Right? Type D for down, guys. Type D for down, guys. If you can clearly see that this green line is pointing down. Let me know. Type D for down. Let me know. Time to chat. So do you blind yourself? Up, miss up, down, miss down, sideways, miss sideways. Don't know, say don't know. Right? Let me type D for down, guys. You can see that the short-term trend is down. Down. Thank you so much. Right, Victor, down. Lilian, Sophie, Libun as well. All right, very good. And that's correct, right? So long-term trend is up, no issues, but the short-term trend is down. So we're seeing a bit of uncertainty, I would say, right, due to this, potential. I'll see the announcement of kind of like a spin-off of YZJ Maritime or something like that. All right, I've not really followed the news, but my team did tell me about it previously as well. All right, but I can read more about it. But even before that, you can see that the bearish signal has appeared. Short-term trend turned down. We are starting to see weakness in the stock since 3 weeks back. Right, so yeah, you get the YZJ. I think it's like what's the ratio? I'm not too sure, like 1 for 1 or something. Right, it's a free share. X dates, you get it. Right, and the price will adjust downwards accordingly when you get a free share, right? But even before that, you can see that we are starting to see weakness. So normally what happens is that, Andy, you got about 1.21. Well, at that point in time, it was okay, right? I mean, there was a bullish signal. The green line was still up. I'm not too sure. Maybe you got in around here in September, right? But you can see after that, when a bearish signal comes up, by right, we will want to take some profit and get out. I mean, look at the bullish signal right over here, right? Pump. Got 2 bullish signals. We started to see the rally from here all the way to the bearish signal, 47%. Right, 47% gain just from the bullish signals in July. Of course, you've got it a little bit higher. I mean, yeah, right. No choice, right? But this based on the bullish signals, if you've got in right over here, 47%, right? When you see a bearish signal, get out, 47%, not enough, man. All right, take some profit, get out, and wait for a re-entry to get back in again. All right, so that's what I'll do. So I'm very glad that all of you say wait in terms of like buying, right? But if you're kind of like holding on to it, well, we actually need to have a plan. We should not want to hold on blindly, right? Normally, when we see a bearish signals plus a few other confirmations, we would also like to take some profit, get out, reduce our exposure. If you need to stop loss, you stop loss, right? That's what we call a plan to protect the downside, right? To make sure that our losses do not balloon out of control. Make sense? All right. So this is for YZJ Financial Holding, right? For now, I would say a bit of weakness. You see, previously also we got a 1GT bullish signal. There we go. All the way up. Bearish signal. Then get out first, lah. Right? Get out. You see, it was like down for 1 week and then rested for a while, and finally you got 2 bullish signals. There we go up, right? So I'm not too sure exactly when the bullish signal will come out. It could be like this bullish signal, right? If you could take over here, and maybe you could paste over here or here or here or here. I don't know that, huh? But let's say it comes out over there, and then you see this green line that is going down, like that, and then start to like turn up. Something like this, huh? Do you think that would be a good opportunity to get in again? Definitely. That would definitely be one of the very good confirmations that we are starting to see the reversal. Then that time you don't say wait, that time you say buy, try to time your entry, then I'll be very happy. Makes sense, but haven't come out yet. So I don't know when you come out, but when you come out, then I will know. All right. So what we could do is you can set an alert, right click, set an alert, such that if there are any bullish or bearish signals coming out, right? Buy or sell alert. So if any green 1GT bullish signals appear, that's where I can be alerted by a notification, by an email, by an app pop-up and all that. All right, so that will be for YZJ Financial Holding. I hope that helps, Andy. So I think one of your plan, all right, to get out if you see any bearish signal plus a few confirmations, all right, and to get that in again when the time comes. Okay, Ken, Andy. So that will be for YZJ Financial Holding, the very first Singapore stock for today. Let me pass on the mic to Bobby to cover the next Singapore stock. Bobby, all yours.
All right, thanks, Joey. Okay, so I saw this comment. So, okay, Suresh, hi Suresh, good morning. Need some advice on UOB. Then I was wondering what was the context. Scroll down. You bought UOB at the highest, okay, close to the highest level, 36.80. What are the next steps to do? All right, 36.80. So I believe you may have bought way back when in February, or if not most recently. I don't think prices have went up to 36.80. So you've been holding on to it for quite a while now, and you probably set through that April sell down. So correct me if I'm wrong. All right, Suresh. So this is for UOB right here. I think earnings just came out. Quick glance at it. I think over the last week I saw that their net interest income definitely came down. Profit margin took a big drop on the interest side of things. And the thing is, I think the company have or the bank have introduced more allowances for bad debt. So it is expecting some of their borrowers, they are not so stable borrowers, to default on the debt. All right, so that is why they have introduced more provision for debt. So that is technically not a good sign for investors as well, because you do not want the company to eat into their reserves, into their allowances, to pay off debts for their borrowers themselves. So I think market is reacting to it. All right, we saw prices have previously gapped down on Wednesday, it had gapped down and we broke below, right? We broke below that $34.50 level that it had pretty much been holding since August right here. Rebounded once, rebounded twice, tested and rebounded one time in October. Then prices quickly consolidated a little bit, and then upon earnings it broke down. So it looks like it's a very different story from the rest of the banks, all right, compared to DBS and OCBC. UOB is doing on a slightly weaker side. But does this open any opportunities for you? Right? Open any opportunities for you? I think right now we can see right here, right, that 20 days moving average hasn't been showing much strength since September. Just gradually going lower, breaking below that 100 days moving average, not really being able to recover much, and then now subsequently breaking that 200 days moving average. Not a good sign. But if we look at a longer term trend, yes, that 100 days moving average still above that 200 days moving average, but it has started to flatten. It has started to flatten out already. And if prices are still not showing signs of any recovery or any momentum, we may start to see that 100 days moving average start to slope down also. All right, so you have been holding on for a while already. You have been taking on some dividends as well. But doesn't matter if you take the dividends, but the share price keep coming down lower and lower and lower. Not good, not a good sign. You take dividend but lose capital, then net you end up maybe still in a loss. All right, okay, so right now we see that prices can find or could find a temporary support, right? Temporary support right around that $33.50 level, shown by this candlestick right here. Prices actually briefly dipped below this level yesterday, but buyers actually came in, right? Came in to push prices back up once again. So that's a good sign that we actually are seeing some bargain hunting happening in the market right now. But should you join in this bargain hunting is the question, right? So with that 20 days moving average still pointing down, you are, or the market is still showing signs of weakness. Prices are still showing signs of weakness. And even today, as we try to approach that $34.50 level, we start to see a little bit of sellers are already coming in this morning, trying to get rid of their position, selling down already. So what do we want to wait for? We want to wait for a little bit of consolidation, right? A little bit of consolidation to come in within this range. Right, within this range, as prices calm down, maybe approach that $33 level once again, hit back up to that 34, just doing a little bit of a consolidation like that. That would be an ideal sign where we find a little bit of safety, all right, a little bit of safety above this $33.50 level, where that 20 days moving average can start to move sideways, flatten out, and maybe eventually pointing up once again if prices give way or buyers come in to push prices above that $34.50 immediate resistance. Right, immediate resistance previously was a support, now turned into a resistance. All right, so Suresh, you want to maybe perhaps just hold on for a bit, all right. So right now, if I were to just turn on very quickly to just get a quick opinion, we actually see two 1GT bearish signals actually come in. One is 17 October and the most recent one just yesterday. So in the case where you're actually seeing multiple 1GT bearish signals, you actually do not want to get in. I would recommend not to get in just yet. Just take a back seat. Let's see if prices are able to break above that $34.50 level again. Then maybe we will see another 1GT bullish signal actually come right in, and then yes, you could deploy a breakout trade, to get in to accumulate on those dips if you like. All right, so but what to do with your existing position if prices continue to weaken? All right, so even though UOB may be like a longer term holding, people say banks in Singapore will not collapse. Yeah, but you still have your capital vested there. So you want to be a little bit more careful if multiple horizontal supports are broken. Multiple horizontal supports are broken. Why? It's because you can get out first. Right? Preserve some of those capital. Come back in when prices stabilize a little bit, or when that longer term trend resume, or even better, you can deploy it to other counters as well. You can deploy to other counters as well. Why? It's because if you continue holding, there may be some opportunity cost. You have been holding since February, and currently after dividends, I don't know whether it's a loss or not. I'm not able to calculate, but as of right now, it shows that the prices are still showing signs of weakness. So perhaps an alert could be placed below the $33 psychological level. All right, $33 psychological level. You want to be very firm about what to do. All right, $33 level broken. Perhaps consider get out, look for other opportunities, or continue to monitor the stock. I know some people just don't like to redeploy their funds into other counters, but that is fine. Then you can just monitor. As of right now, is it an immediate buy? I would say no. It is not an immediate buy. Wait for a little bit of safety, a little bit of safety net to come in for you first, a little bit more conviction there, then get in. All right, Suresh, hopefully that is helpful for you. All right, so I'm not too sure whether you're holding the other banks, but I think as of right now, UOB seems to be one of the weaker banks out of the three. Okay, so I'll pass the time now to Z to cover the next stock for you guys.
All right, thanks, Bavin. Okay, so the next stock that I have over here would be Q&M. Okay, let me just share my screen. And that is by Liz, right? Liz, I hope you're still here. You mentioned that you bought Q&M around 54 cents, right? But still in the doldrum. So I believe over the past couple of days, probably you bought somewhere here, lah, right? Close to the 54 cents, right? And then over the past few days, over the past few days or past 1 week, right? You see that, the price has just been not here, not there, lah, like pulling back, right? And then you don't see actually a profits for this particular holding. So sometimes when that actually happens, people tend to usually, feel like, hey, this stock like a bit boring. But overall, right, if we take a look at this stock, right, actually, what do you guys think? Maybe you guys can help Liz out as well, right? For the first glance for this Q&M, do you guys think that the uptrend is still strong? Or you think that not so good? Maybe Liz should actually, just get out first. What do you guys think? Should she still continue to hold this stock, or should she get out? Maybe you guys can let me know in the chat, right? What Liz should do, because she finds that this stock is a bit not here, not there, ding ding dong dong, right? Then after that, like maybe don't know what to do, right? But overall, what do you guys think? What do you guys think of Q&M? Right? Is the uptrend still okay? Ho. I saw Colin say ho, John say ho, Melina say ho, Boon Huat say ho, right? Alex also say ho, Aoyong say ho. A lot of you guys are recommending, right, are suggesting to Liz to actually hold, right? Even though we might see a bit of pullback. Why do they say hold, right? Because what we are seeing now, based on the trend, green line, red line, blue line, actually all of them actually still pointing up, right? All of them, short term and long term, are all in the uptrend, right? They are all aligned. They are all still heading up. Plus the fact that we get not one, but still got two, 1 GT bullish signal, right? 1 GT bullish signal. And also price, we can see that it is actually still holding above the 50 cents psychological support level, right? So previously, this 50 cents, as you guys can see over here, somewhere in September, right? This period, it was testing 50 cents as a resistance, right? Unable to break above it, selling pressure came in, push it back down to retest at the support at 45 cents, right? Then buyers came back in, price rebounded, pushed the price back up, and it finally broke above the 50 cents level not too long ago, right? Somewhere at the end of October, right? And that's where we also got 1 GT bullish signal, right? And I mean, price, obviously it went up, right? It tested this level, right? It tested this level at about 55 cents, which is a resistance level, right? Resistance level, and selling pressure push it back down. And now there's some sort of pullback, yes. But do we see that the 20 days moving average starts to point down? No, not yet, right? It's still pointing up. Red line also pointing up. Blue line also pointing up, still holding above the 50 cents. So far, this stock, definitely, I would say Q&M is still look pretty okay, right? Definitely still pretty okay. It's just that unfortunately, Liz, perhaps you might have gotten in near the resistance instead of near the support, because by right, when we are thinking about buying into stock, based on the 1 GD framework, where do we want to buy? We want to buy near a support, right? We want to buy near a support because that's where we know buying pressure will come back. And I would not be surprised, at resistance level, we see some selling pressure return, some pullback returning. It's normal, right? Because resistance level is the reason why it's called resistance, right? Selling pressure are there to resist, right? So nothing wrong if there is some pullback near a resistance level, right? As long as it's holding above the 50 cent psychological level, definitely I think it still looks good. Right, definitely it still looks good. And also, plus, can you see that right over here, right? Prices came up, come back down, and then it broke above, right? If prices can actually do something like that, you see, the same thing, it goes up, and if it consolidate and still hold above the 50 cents before breaking above the 55 cents, right? Then potential upside targets that we are looking at would be towards the 60 cents level. How do you get the 60 cents? Very simple. You see, from here, you do a projection. So you see the range that it was trading at, 45 to 50 cents. 50 cents to 55, which is the resistance. One up again, 55 to 60 cents, right? So can see that it's a very textbook classical like uptrend. But of course, provided that it must be able to hold above the 50 cents, it consolidate and then it break above the 50 cents, then potentially that is where we could also see another 1 GT bullish signal appearing. Right, so for Liz, right, I think at this point in time, you don't have to worry too much about this particular stock, but always make sure that, because before you even enter, right, you bought at 54 cents, you got to have your trading plan in place. Like, where is your target? Where is your stop loss, right? If price were to reverse and drop below 50 cents, then potentially what can we see? we can potentially witness, price going back into this range, right? That it was actually trading from August all the way to October, at least like about 1.5 months, right? That could potentially be a scenario. Would you be okay with that, or is your stop loss already hit because price have broken below the 50-cent support, right? So the thing about stop loss is that you got to think about your stop loss, because everybody's stop loss and risk appetite is different, right? But most importantly is to always have a stop loss in place, just in case prices were to reverse. Then at least you can get out first if we actually get another 1GT bearish signal. Right, so at least for this stock, I think at this point in time, don't have to worry too much about it, but just make sure to monitor the 50 cents level, right? If it's broken below, and potentially you might see some weakness returning back to the 45 cents, and potentially we could see some consolidation happening. But otherwise, everything still look pretty bullish and positive at this point in time, right? And also just in case, right, for any of you guys here who are new, who are just scrolling, right, I believe Joey has also broadcast this stock and share this stock as a trading idea, I think about maybe 1 to 2 weeks back, right, when we actually first gotten this 1GT bullish signal right over here. So if you guys are not a client yet, right, and you guys would like to receive such trading ideas on a daily basis, right, for free, right, no additional cost, for free, you guys can just sign up at, I think the link will be in the chat. I believe Bervin will help me put in the chat lah. Yeah, you guys can just click on the link and register there to be a client under Joey in Philip Security, and then you guys can get these trading ideas for free on WhatsApp on a daily basis. Okay, so yeah, I think with that will be for Q&M. I hope that it helps you, Liz, for something for you to think about. Okay, so I think I'll pass the time back over to Joey to cover the next stock.
Can I just add something for Q&M right here?
Yeah.
Okay, so Q&M has been I've been watching Q&M for a few days. So Liz, if you are able to log into SGX announcement, you can see that there has been a lot of changes in the format or their directors or their chairman's interest in their company. A lot of buybacks have started for Q&M. All right. And it seems like their own chairman is using up his own cash to buy up his shares as well. So that is typically a good sign that the company or the chairman has some additional vested interest in the company, has taken on additional vested interest. So usually that is a good sign. So, but like what Z have said, don't ignore the fundamentals. As long as you hold above 50 cents, I think it is still pretty much quite good. Break above 55 cents, another 1GT bullish signal. But just if you are looking onto this stock or holding onto this stock, just monitor their SGX announcements. Day to day, they have been announcing. All right. Okay. So I'll pass the time back to Joey now.
All right, thank you so much, Bervin and Z. All right, so yeah. I think what Z mentioned was very strong as well, very good as well regarding the bullish signals coming out. And you can see that we did have a couple of confirmations, and we actually sent out a note on Q&M Dental as well to our clients in Philip Securities. I think a couple of months back, and you can see a couple of bullish signals since like even many months back, right? So it started to push up. So like what Z mentioned, if you want to get some of those ideas much faster, let me just go to share my screen right now. Right, check out how you can become a client of mine in Philip Securities. The link is right in the chat. Click on it, and you actually come to this page right over here. All right, right over here. So I believe some of you might already be a client of mine. You're receiving our daily updates and ideas by WhatsApp. But click on the link. You come to this page right over here. There's a video heading right over here. Get exclusive Singapore stock ideas, expert insights daily from me and my team for free. No additional cost at all right? Essentially, you're paying the same as whatever you're paying when you are trading. So, I mean, you probably need a trading account to buy and sell stock, right? So, if you are kind of like trading and then your own broker, like, just an app or online platform, you log in and just anyhow buy some stock, no broker, nobody send you any idea or video or training or WhatsApp you or call you. It's like a hotline. Link is right in the chat. Click on it, come to this page, find a bit more. And more importantly, you also want to check out, don't believe what I say also. I think it's not so fair if you believe what I say. Check out what some of our clients are saying as well. All right, so you can just scroll down right over here. Why clients trust Joey Choy, not just me, me and my team. You can see right over here. Check it out. I mean, we have lots of Google reviews, load more, 5-star reviews, own self read. All right, and why we have thousands of clients joining us right over here. This is the page, right? So, and hopefully you can join us as well, like many of our clients, and get some of those ideas daily by WhatsApp for free, and no additional cost. Cool. All right. Okay. Now let's go ahead to cover the next Singapore stock. And this is the very next stock on the cover that was asked, right? And that will be by Bennett Tan, right? Bennett, right? OCBC, right? In fact, I saw a few of you asking about OCBC, but I'll just pull up this comment right over here, right? OCBC, Bennett Tan asking about it. it did manage to see a very strong recovery. So you can see UOB that Berwin has covered have sold off, right? But OCBC, even DBS has been pretty strong, right? So I did a video on the banks. You can check it out on my YouTube channel a couple of weeks back. And I mentioned that I would say for now, right, DBS will be probably one of the strongest, but it seems like OCBC have woken up. Okay, let me just go ahead to just turn this off so it's a bit cleaner. All right, let me show you guys. So you can see for OCBC, right, we actually have been trading, or we have been kept below the $17 psychological resistance level, I would say, since February, right? For about 8 to 9 months, every time we go there, we go back down. Same thing, we touch. Every time go there, always come back down, right? A lot of sellers there. I also don't know why, but every time go there, always come back down, right? Same thing, last week also go there, right? Every time 4, 5, 6 times for the past 7, 8 months, we go there, we sellers come back, and we rechase back down. That's what we call a very strong psychological resistance level, right? But over the past week, well, I think I got my team, I'm not wrong, right? I think I got my team to send out a note on OCBC as well, a couple of weeks, maybe last week or something, right? When we broke the $17, look at this right over here, right? That was where we are starting to see some signs of strength, because as I say, since February, we touched 6, 7 times, always come back down, but it now never come back down there. Right? We managed to go above it there. All right, and we want to stay above it, right? And that's exactly what we're seeing, right? So you can see that we broke the $17 last week, a bit of profit taking, bullish candles coming back to take it up above the $17. Look at this, pretty bullish candlestick coming in on Wednesday, all right? Yesterday, Thursday, today, Friday, pump even more, right? Gap up a bit of profit taking. And that was, kind of like for OCBC, right? We broke the 17, we went up to near $18. So $18 would be a psychological resistance level whereby we could see some profit taking coming back again. But overall, I would say that OCBC looks pretty bullish right now. Why? Well, first of all, the trend is up in the longer term. Look at the red and the blue line. Since last year, it has been up. Right? Look at the red line, blue line, both pointing up, red above the blue, right? No problem. Okay. But if you ask me in August, September, I would say very boring in the short term. Why? Because we're below the 17, right? And then look at the green line, also like not going up, like side, then down a bit, sideways. But right now, guys, you can see that as we broke this $17, right? We got our team to send out a note to our VIP clients in Philips Securities. Not too sure exactly what date. I think we sent out a note on, maybe on Thursday as well. Right? Even last Thursday as well, there was another note on OCBC, right? As we attempted to break the $17, right? That was where we get another confirmation. So longer term trend is up, short term trend started to turn up. We broke the $17. Plus, let's go ahead to turn on the bullish and bearish signals to see if we can get another confirmation. There we go, right? So we actually got a few other confirmations in terms of these bullish signals coming out. So the first one actually came out on the 3rd of October, about 1 month ago, right? And right over here, just yesterday, we got another 1 GT bullish signal coming out. All right, and of course, today, pump went up with it. But why am I trying to share with you guys this? Well, essentially, this is asked by Bennett, right? And maybe I think one of you asking about OCBC as well, right? So I thought, why not cover it since Berwin covered UOB? Well, I feel that right now, because we've got out of the $17, these confirmations that we've got are starting to play out, even though it might have gapped up today, right, on some pretty solid results, right? I think the results beat expectations. Net interest margin was up as well. It's surprised to the upside. Very strong results that were announced. That's why it gapped up, right? So even though that's happened, yes, get up is moved a bit more, a little bit higher as well. It might feel a bit uncomfortable to get in, right? Because it's a bit more expensive, right? But there could be even more upside as long as we stay above, this 17 or maybe, right? Not even 17. So 17 will be a psychological support level, right? But I'm not too sure whether you maybe even go down to near 17 for you to buy, because we have already pushed up. We might have found another higher support coming in, right? It's only 1 day, right? So we have to see a bit of consolidation, but maybe right now, $17.50 to $18, it might be what we call a short-term consolidation, right? So that could be where, on slight dips, you could think about a potential entry to potentially write even more upside for this stock, because we are indeed starting to see it play out, right? If $18 were to give way, all right, now, this morning, the high was what? $17.94. Normal lah. As I say, near $18, we would see some profit taking. I think it's good to also take a rest first near 18, below 18, right? Be a profit taking, right? Consolidate for a while. But if the $18 gives way, targets could be revised to 19, maybe even to $20, right? That's for OCBC. Finally, right? I got alerted. In fact, look at my alerts right over here, right? There we go, right? Pump 039, buy or sell alert. So I mean, that's how we got alerted to this bullish signal, like pump, ting, 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 ting. All right, we got a couple of alerts on OCBC, right? In fact, right over here, 6th of November, yesterday, another alert as well that I set. Right, so it seems like you've woken up. We've got what we call, bullish signals playing out, confirmations that we could potentially see even more upside. All right, so that will be OCBC. I hope that helps. All right, Bennett. And for those of you who are joining us about, right, let me pass on the mic to Bervin to cover the next Singapore stock.
All right, thanks, Joey. Okay, so let's see right here. All right, so hi, Joey. Capitaland Invest, is it a good time to buy now? Can be considered a laggard for value investment. All right, okay, so I understand your question. Maybe in the chat, maybe can you guys help me just very quickly, based on my chart right here, maybe can we help Anne a little bit? Do you currently want to buy? All right, so let's just seek other people's opinion here. Do we want to buy Capitaland Invest at the current price of $2.65 today? Who would like to buy and who would like to sell, or who would like to hold? All right, maybe you can just type in the chat. Just delete this first. Okay, so Vincent says Dow stock. Lawrence says no. Lillian says buy. Nikki says hold. Boon Huat says sell. Emily says hold. Gloria says hold. Song Ho says hold. Wait and hold. All right, okay, you see, for you have about 300 people here. What? Peter even better. Peter says short the stock. Wow, even better. Okay, so we have 300 people here, and we have already so many different opinions. All right, we already have so many different opinions. So that means when each one of us look at the stock, all right, we all have different intention. All right, we all have different intention, and what could be the best intention will be based on your own trading plan. But all right, so here is my trading plan if I'm looking at Capitaland Invest. Firstly, okay, I have already turned on the 1GT Pro indicator, so I play cheat a bit. So we got how many? 1, 2, 3 1GT bearish signal. All right, 1, 2, 3 bearish signal, not too good on the technical side already. Prices previously tested at 280 level. All right, so this is after prices have came down from a high of close to above 350. It had started to trend down since 2023. Seeing a little bit of buyers coming back close to that $2.30 level. That was where prices have rebounded since the start of 2025. Finally breaking above that $2.70 level in July, late June, early July, it had finally broken above that $2.70 level. Not quite able to break 290, came close, nothing broken right there. But here's the thing, after that we saw continued weakness. Let me just turn off this for a very quick second. Right here, we actually see lower highs forming for Capitaland Invest. All right, so the general market sentiment is every time prices hit lower, try to push back higher, sellers come in. Try to push back higher one more time, sellers come in again. Try to push again one more time, sellers come in one more time. Try to push again after breaking below 270, sellers come in once again. So would you like to join the sellers or would you like to join the buyers then? I would say it is better to join the sellers lah. So in that sense, if you currently do not have a position, you do not want to consider to get in just yet. Why? It is because prices, the next support, right? The next support would be, I would say, right around this level, that 260 immediate level. The 260 immediate level. Why is that? 200 days moving average is coinciding just there as well. Right? Although prices look to be consolidating, you do not want to be caught in a trap. All right, what we call a value trap. Right here, if prices start to break lower, all right, new high again, break lower like that, That's the last thing you want, and then you will be back where we started in early 2025 again. Right. So I understand that some people are looking at Capitaland Invest is because they are exploring a merger with with Maple Tree. But I think just a quick Google just now, I just saw that their revenue have already started to dip. Their 9 months revenue has started to dip already in their latest earning, dip by about 25%. So not too good. And I think market is also taking reaction towards that 20 days moving average already sloping down. All right. So just now, if I turn on their 1GT bullish and bearish signal, we see 3 1GT bearish signals. But let me just turn on their trailing support and resistance. So when we see a 1GT bearish signal, we will have this trailing resistance. It follows the stock prices, right? Trailing support follow prices when prices are moving higher, giving it space to breathe as it moves higher. Likewise, for a trailing resistance, it will do the same just for prices moving down. So as prices moving down, you can still see there is a gap that is taking into account of the natural volatility of the stock versus the trailing, following the trailing resistance, Okay, so we actually see that it is starting to head lower. All right, it's starting to head lower. And if prices continue to weaken, you will start to see that trailing resistance starting to head lower and lower and lower. So you do not want to get trapped right here. Maybe one thing we can actually look out for if you want to look into Capitaland Invest, you may just want to wait for the 20 days moving average to, of course, point up. All right, cross above the 100 days moving average, then maybe that is where you'll be buying a little bit expensive, like what Joey said, maybe a little bit uncomfortable buying, a little bit more expensive. But I think buying a little bit more expensive could give you the additional conviction, can give you the additional signs of safety, where the market has in fact wanting to push prices higher above that $2.70 level, breaking that pattern of a lower high as well. All right, so it is a little bit down. You can see prices just pretty much moving sideways above this level. So if you're buying in, you could expect a longer term consolidation under that 280 level or the 285 level, unless that merger catalyst actually kick in. But the actual effects of it, I don't know. I don't know what it will be the actual effects of that merger. All right, so I think just be a little bit more careful. I don't think it is immediate buy yet. Maybe you want to set up an alert, or maybe even a 1GT alert. All right, 1GT alert, just right click, add alert. Instead of a price alert, you can add 1GT alert. So a 1GT buy or sell alert will be good here. Once per bar, just create. So if there is any new 1GT bullish or bearish signals, you will be alerted towards that as well. All right, so that is for Capitaland investment. Few levels to take note. I'll pass the time to Z to actually cover the next stock for you guys. Thanks.
All right, thank you, Bervin. Okay, so I share my screen, and the next stock that I have over here, right, would be Samudera Shipping, right? Samudera Shipping by John, right? John is saying that Samudera Shipping bought at 0.965 because got 1GT bullish signal. But since then, it has come down a little bit. More important now is that the 20 days MA has crossed below the 100 days MA, can still hold on. First of all, thanks John for being so descriptive, right? And telling us, like, giving us a little bit of context, right? Because now I understand, okay, you bought at 965 and you bought that because there is a 1GT bullish signal, and now you are also focusing on the moving average, and you caught that the 20 days moving average has indeed broke and crossed below the 100 days moving average. So what are some of the levels, right, that you should potentially be taking note of, all right? Very good analysis over there in terms of the moving average, right? Okay, so right now, like what John has said, right, 20 days moving average has crossed below the 100 days moving average. So that definitely is the first sign of weakness already, right? Because if 20 days moving average is pointing down, as you guys can see right over here, it means that there is some short-term weakness, right? Definitely there's some short-term weakness. Even though at this point in time, do we see a 1GT bearish signal? No, not yet. We still see a bullish signal. But once the 20 days MA, right, has started to point down, right, it's just showing some weakness already, right? But for longer term wise, if we focus on the red and the blue line, they are still looking pretty decent and okay, right? Both of them are actually still pointing up. So if you guys recall just now, regarding Q&M, right? Q&M, even though the price have pulled back a little, right? But at least the 20 days moving average did not point out, comparing to this Samudera right now, right? 20 days moving average pointing down and cross below 100 days. So first sign of winners right there, right? So definitely there are certain things that perhaps, John, you might want to take note of and monitor, right? And especially to have your, downside risk in check, okay? So first and foremost, right, we got to also, apart from the trend, the moving averages that we have just analyzed, we got to look at where are the support and the resistance, right? So very clearly over here for Samudera, right, we can see that there is support and buying pressure returning at where? This 90 cents level, right? I've drawn right over here, 90 cents psychological level, right? Here is when it actually broke above it somewhere in July. Here was when buying pressure came to support the prices and push it back up, right? So 90 cents, I would say definitely will be one of the support level that you want to take note of, right? And in terms of resistance, where would the resistance be, right? I would say that the resistance could be around this level, right? 104 to maybe about this 105, right? This level right here. This is where you can see that right over here, right? Prices actually tested this resistance level a couple of times, right? Even back when during the month of September, right over here, it is very near to the 105, but unable to touch it. But then that is where selling pressure is at, unable to break above this $1.05, right? So these two would be like, what we call a support and a resistance level, right? And that's where we know that potentially where are some buyers could return and where are some selling pressure could return as well, right? But if we take a closer look, right? Okay, if we take a closer look right over here, over the past month, since October, right, to November, I would say that there could also be some temporary resistance returning back at this $1 psychological level as well, right? Because you see right over here, it break below, tested it as a resistance right here and right here as well. So I would say $1, there could be some temporary resistance returning, right? So if prices is able to rebound back up this $1, right? Then I would not be surprised if there is some sellers already queuing there to sell to push the price down at the $1 mark, right? Because it's a psychological level. But if it's able to break above it, then yeah, the next level of resistance that we are looking at would be around this level, whereby you can potentially set some price alert, right, to actually notify you, to actually take some profits at this level as well, right, near the $1.05. Okay, so now the question is, because you are seeing some weakness, can you actually still hold on, right? So now that we have established that 90 cents is actually the support level, so if the price were to break the support level, what do you think? Do you think you should continue holding on to a stock if a support level is broken based on the 1GD framework? No, right? Because if a support level is broken, what does it mean? It means that there's more selling pressure returning, then why would you still want to continue holding on to a stock whereby there's more selling pressure, right? And let me just turn on this trailing support function, okay? So right here, you guys can see that the trailing support right now, right, price is still holding above the trailing support, right? And it's very near this 90 cents level as well, the horizontal support that we have drawn. If prices really were to break below this level, do you think that there's a 1GD bearish signal appearing? Definitely, right? Because you give, if you guys remember, trailing support, what does it mean? It means that we have already given the stock room to breathe, right? And if you give the stock room to breathe and it still break below the room that you have given it to breathe, then 1GD bearish signal appeared and not so good. That's where potentially you might want to, reduce your position or get out first, right? Because that's where we don't want to get stuck and keep holding on to our losses, right? So for John, I think more importantly at this point in time, to think about when you first enter, I don't know what is your trading plan, right? Maybe you already have a trading plan in place, you already have a stop loss plan in place. But right now, based on this, technically speaking, what we can see is that 90 cents is one of the very crucial psychological immediate support level to take note of. If it breaks below, definitely we may see more weakness returning back to the counter, right? And weakness returning back to where? Can see right over here, right? This is where prices actually consolidated for a bit, right? So it could potentially, if it breaks the 90 cents level, right, potentially we might return back to this zone, right? Maybe about 80 cents to about 84 cents, whereby buying pressure could come back again. But because you're already holding on to a position, at 96 cents, right, you don't want to be sitting on unrealized losses, whereby you didn't take any action and, to reduce some exposure if it breaks a certain support level. Okay, so I hope that helps, John, to give you something to think about and some of the levels that you can set some price alert to monitor as well. Okay, so that would be Samudera Shipping. Back over to you, Joey, to cover the next stock.
All right, thank you so much, Z. Let's move on to the very next one, and that will be asked by. Let me see, guys. So we have quite a few. I mean, quite a lot of stocks being asked. So as I say, guys, we'll do our best. Right? I think right now we have covered a total of 6 stocks already. Let's go on. Right? Let's go on. Okay, come. Next one will be this stock called Seatrium. TFTF. Good morning, Joey and team. Can you help Seatrium? Right, you bought at $1.84, right? So thanks for giving us a bit of context, right? I say those who give us a bit of context, you can see that, guys, that we are picking your stocks. You are showing it on the screen, right? Rather than this one Seatrium there, I don't know what you want, but now you let me know. Oh, you bought at 184, all right? So I don't know. Let's see what price is that, right? Didn't sell, right? Should continue to hold. What is a good support? Let's find out, right? So you bought at 184. Where is 184? Now it's what price? Now it's $2.13. Okay, 184 you bought. Now it's 2.13. Still make one, right? Still make, but you bought around where? Maybe around here, right? Maybe around here. I mean, that was where it was about 184. Maybe in April you bought it. Did you see the bullish signal or what? Not too bad, right? We got a bullish signal right over here. And in fact, another bullish signal, and then it starts to move up, right? Or I don't know. So 184 will be somewhere around here in April, or maybe in October last year you bought. I don't know, right? It could be these two places, in April or last year, October, right? So so thanks for giving me a context. I think that's where you've got it, which I think is pretty good, right? I mean, I would say the entry price is not too bad. Are you a pro or something, right? Not too bad, Not too bad. We got a bullish signal, 1GT right over here, the green line turn up, and there we go. But let's take a look at what happens, if you get in and you don't know when to get out. Let me know, guys, how many of you agree that getting out is important, or maybe even more important than getting in? Type O, guys. Type O for out if you feel that getting out is quite important, right, in the market. Let me know. Type O for out. What do you guys think? Right. So that, I mean, in fact, this question is about getting out, right? Let me know. Type O for out if you feel that it's quite important. Victor, O, out. Alex, out as well. John, out as well. Gary, out. In fact, right, I would say that, definitely, right? I mean, getting in is very easy, right? I mean, some people will ask you, hey, Joey, can buy or not? Can buy. Anything got money, sure can buy, right? Right? Easy to buy. You got money, of course, can buy, right? But whether it's good time to buy or not, that's another thing, But you want to buy, can buy. Got money, can buy, right? But, you buy already, will go out, go down, you must think a bit, right? So getting in is, I think, quite easy. Get in, my money can buy it, right? But getting out, like what Peter Tan is saying, right? It's the toughest decision, right? Because you don't know when to get out, right? Buy already, you keep, then go down, you wait. Tomorrow will be better, or tomorrow sure rebound one, right? You wait, and go down some more. And you think, never mind, wait some more, and you wait. So you don't know when to get out, right? From make money, become make a bit become make very little bit, then become lose, all right? And then become don't know what happened, right? So getting out, I would say, is one of the key thing to really master as well in the market, right? Not just getting in, right? Because that would kind of determine in the long run if you consistently profit, right? So let me just go back to the question, right? Which is pretty much about getting out, right? Because you're asking me, didn't sell, so you didn't get out, basically you didn't sell, right? Should I continue to hold? So you can see, TFTF. Well, let's just take a step back in September last year, right? September pump, we got a 1GT bullish signal. Pump, we got a 1GT bullish signal, right? How many percent of that? So I mean, you didn't get in then, but let's just give an example, right? All the way up, finally, we got a bearish 1GT signal. 47% in 5 months. Pretty okay, right? Do you want to get out? Why not? We got a 1GT bearish signal. Another one came out and all the way down. So if you didn't get out, your 47%, maybe left 5%. Does it make sense, right? And then maybe to get back in again. So I think you got in, as I said, I don't know when you got in, right? 184, it could be here, right? But either way, it doesn't matter, right? We got a bullish signal, another bullish signal, and let's assume we're getting over here, right? Over the past few days, we got not past few days, but past 2 weeks, we got a bearish signal. 28% in about 5 months, a bit lesser than the previous round, right? But 28%, still okay, right? So the fact is that now, you can see that, not now, in fact, when was it? We got 10th of October, which is last, about 1 month ago, quite long, 10 October, last week, 10 October, we actually got a 1GT bearish signal, right? And the next day, we got another one and go down some more. So the point is, right, when we see a bearish signal, right, that is mean that we are indeed seeing some heavy selling coming back. It doesn't mean it's going to crash and stuff, no, right? But it just means that there's some heavy selling coming back. All right, you might want to look at the stock, right? You want to look at the candlestick as well. You want to look at the short-term trend as well. Is the green line turning down? Yeah, turn down already, right? I mean, if you say over here, then it's up lah. But since like 10 October, also turned down. Now still turning down. I think now still turning down. So for 1 month already turning down. Like, in case you still think it's like yesterday, actually quite long already, one month already. So the things that when you see confirmations like this, well, I think it's good to get out. I mean, 28%, take some profit, get out first. Does it make sense about? All right, and maybe think about getting in again when you see this bullish signal right over here coming back, and a few other confirmations to right the reversal back up. You see what I'm saying so far, right? So that is, I hope that helps TFTF, right? So I think that's very important, right? Getting in is one thing, getting out is one thing, right? You should know exactly when to get out when the time comes. You don't want to just hold, right? Should continue to hold. So my question to you is, why do you want to continue to hold? I mean, what's your reason why you want to hold? I mean, unless you can tell me some like 3 very good reasons, okay, maybe give it to you, right? But what's the reason, right? Because right now we are seeing a bit of weakness in the short term, right? And if you get out, right? So one thing I realize is that most people is very scared to get out, right? Because if they get out, right, they scared that they cannot get in again, right? Then what if we rebound back, then we're wasted. But you get out, actually you want to buy back, you can buy back anytime, right? You want to buy back 5 minutes later, also can. Tomorrow you can buy back also, Does it make sense, right? So don't be concerned like, oh, you get out means you admit defeat, you lose already or what, no, you make lesser money. Doesn't matter, right? Don't think so much, right? In the one good trend pro indicator, there's no overthinking, no overwhelm, no confusion, just clarity, right? On when to get in and when to get out. You see what I'm saying so far? All right. So hopefully I answer your question. Didn't sell, should continue to hold. By right, should already get out, should already sell already, on 10 October, 1 month already, right? Already got a bearish signal. So I'm not too sure whether you get access to the 1GT Pro indicator, but you can attend a free webinar to find out. So we don't have any free webinars. We have already ended our webinars for the entire year. But if you guys want to find out a little bit more as to how you can test drive the one good trend light indicator, right, for free, what you could do is that team just place the link in the chat, right? So this is the pro indicator, right? Me, Bervin, and Z, we are using what we call the one good trend pro indicator. Is the pro version, more advanced one, right? But we do have a light version, right? The simpler version. It contains the bullish and bearish signals and the moving averages, but we don't have some of the more advanced other stuff, right? So you can test right for free. The link is right in the chat. Click on it and you'll come to this page, and that could guide you to get out as well, right? I mean, so if you were alerted to this bearish signal 1 month ago, TFTF, maybe you have got out, you could have saved a few $100s. Not too sure how many shares you buy, but you could have saved a few $100s. Does it make sense, Bob? All right, and that is the link in the chat. Click on it. If you have not yet, you can test drive my one good trend light indicator for free, right? Most incredible free gift ever, right? Test drive my 1GT light indicator for free, right? To know exactly when to get in and get out, less than 5 seconds. Do it, all right? And you get over $3,997 worth of trading, right? For free, just for saying maybe, just for testing it out, all right? And you could do that, right? You can pull out the 1GT light indicator. You got you to get out when you see a bearish signal. Does it make sense, All right, Ken. So I hope that helped TFTF. Let me pass on the mic to Bervin to cover the next Singapore stock. Bervin, yours.
All right, thanks, Joey. Okay, so let's go very quickly here. Okay, Vincent, hi. You bought CSE Global at 0.83. Trend looks promising. Any take on this? Okay, great. Okay, on my screen right now, we have CSE Global. All right, okay, so I think for CSE Global, yep, I will agree with you. The trend was still looking good as of now. That 100 days moving average above that, that 20 days moving average above that, 100 days moving average above that, 200 days moving average, longer term trend alongside that shorter term trend, still showing strength. Very good. And then we have two 1GT bullish signals that actually appeared, late of October, 22 of October, and then 24 of October, prices breaking that 80-cent psychological resistance at that point of time, now turned into a psychological support. Prices trading about 0.82 right now. I think not too bad. We are trading very, very close to your entry price effect. All right, so I think maybe you just have bought it recently, or if not, you have bought it late of October. All right, so I have drawn previously a temporary resistance up to about 90 cents first. All right, that's a temporary resistance, but I would say that longer term target, a longer term target can remain at that $1 psychological level, right? $1 psychological level, and we are starting to see, or we could start to see, some bargain hunting coming in within very close to this 80 cents buy zone, right? So we may see that some buyers could come in just to accumulate on the dips, right? Just to accumulate on this and to continue to ride the trend. Because if we are seeing that the trend is looking good, the short-term, long-term trend is looking good, other people can also see that that trend is looking good, and then they could come in for a potential buy trade as well. But would it immediately like say, oh, break above 90 cents, go to $1? I think let's be a little bit realistic, because we actually saw at close to 90 cents, a little bit of sellers have already come in. So we could see a little bit of a consolidation, maybe perhaps very close to that 90 cents level before prices break above it. All right, before prices break above it. So I think right now you may not be sitting on any profits just yet, but once prices have broken above that 90 cents level, definitely that trailing support would have started to hit higher. All right, so without your trading plan could include a plan where if prices move higher, you want to start to protect some profit. Right, so no matter how the prices move, it starts to U-turn back down, you are still getting out with profit. Right, so as of right now, the trading support looks to be about 76, 75 cents just yet, but if it moves higher, that 90 cents level breaks, this trading support could start to show some signs of strength as well. Right, and then you will start to move towards a break-even point, right, Vincent? And then you start to shift your stop limit orders higher and higher. Maybe just under that trailing support will do. Just under that trailing support, maybe 3 to 5 bits under that will be just fine. And then if it breaks or it comes close to that $1 level, and we see a little bit of selling come in, a bit of selling pressure could come in because it's a psychological level. Hey, nothing wrong for you to actually take some profit there as well. All right, maybe not take like the 100% of the entire position or what. Half, 1/3, I think good. Get out, enjoy the profits. All right, then, however, if we see the 80 cents level get broken, all right, what is your plan? You may want to, have a stop limit order just under that trading support as of right now. 75, 76 cents could be good, maybe 74.5 as well. I think that is a good level to set up as well. If prices break below that trading support, you want to be alerted. And I think, yeah, maybe we will then see that nearer term selling or that selling pressure continue as well with a 1 GT bearish signal. And then that is where you want to get out. Limit your losses, preserve that capital. Don't get stuck. Don't be too sentimental that the stock come down. Get out first, and then if we see any stabilization, we can get back in. But as of now, I would still say the trend is looking good. Let's see if bargain hunting comes in close to these 80 cents over the next few days. All right, today is Friday, so bargain hunting comes in on, say, on Monday or Tuesday, something like that. That would be a good sign for you as well. All right, so I think that is for CSE Global. I think it is also one of the stocks that Joey have also sent out to his clients in Phillip Security as well. So if you haven't been receiving it, or you haven't signed up to be Joey's clients, and you want further updates on CSE's Global's current trend or that continuation of that trend, you want to be alerted. I think you can actually just fill up the form in the click on the link and fill up the form in the chat right there. And then I think one of our team members will actually reach out to help you with the setting up of the account as well. All right, so I'll pass the time now to Z to cover the next stock for you guys.
All right, thank you, Bervin. Okay, so the next stock that I have over here will be by Madeline Co. Right, Madeline, I hope you are still here. You mentioned that you bought LHN at 84 cents. Can average now. Okay, so LHN, I believe if those of you guys here who are client, right, I believe LHN is also a stock that Joey has also been posting some of the WhatsApp updates and the trading ideas about LHN, right? And it has been a pretty good stock so far, right? But until recently, we started to see 1 GT bearish signal coming out. So the thing is that I also want to let you guys know the stock that we mentioned that is good. Yes, it is good, right? It's really indeed is good. But you guys also need to set some levels, some price alert to note, right? Because the thing is that if it breaks certain level, we are not sure who actually got into the counter, who have not got into the counter. But right now, we will give you guys update about LHN because since Madeline is asking about it, right? Okay, so for LHN, we can see that previously, yes, it was good. But if it breaks support level, what does it mean? It means that selling pressure has returned. the bears are actually winning, right? And on top of that, what do we see? We see 2 consecutive 1GT bearish signal coming out, right? So Madeline, you mentioned that you bought at 84 cents, right? And now price has gone down to about 71 cents at this point in time, and you are thinking about averaging down, right? Averaging down. So you're holding and you're thinking about averaging. So now we have about 332 people here. Maybe I can get some of you guys' opinion to help Madeline out as well. Do you guys think that Madeline, right, should average down and buy more at this point in time, right? She bought at 84 cents. Do you think that she should buy more now because price is at 71 cents? Let me know in the chat. Right, let me know in the chat, what do you guys think Madeline should do? Should she buy more or no? Let me see. What do you guys think? Victor says no. Alex says no. Harish says no. Chuai says no. Yatri says no. Gary says definitely no. Nikki even better. Say buy me coffee even better. Okay, so let's see why so many of them, right, are actually saying no, right? And I also do agree, right, with a lot of you guys here who are actually saying no. I don't think that it is a good idea to actually average down just because, last time you bought higher and now price is lower than before, right? And it's lower than your previous entry price. Then you think that, now lower already, I should buy more, average my cost price. No, actually that should not be the case, right? That should not be the mindset that we should have, right? Because if the price go low, you don't think that it can go lower? It can go even lower, right? And it can go lower and lower, and then you keep averaging down, not that good, right? Then you'll probably be sitting on unrealized losses. That's not what we want, right? That's not what we want. And so now the thing is that, for Madeline, right, I'm not too sure whether, you actually bought, you bought 84 cents, right? I'm not too sure you actually bought, previously right here, or you actually bought here, right? You can buy here at 84 cents. You also can buy somewhere here at 84 cents, right? I'm not too sure where you buy. But if you buy 84 cents here, right, wow, then price go all the way up to $1.10, right? Then now you come back down to square one and you're sitting on losses. A bit sayang lah, right? Because by right, you are sitting on profits, you are in the green, and then now it's in the red, right? But actually, here, if you have bought here, right, the thing is that perhaps maybe sometimes you might actually, it'll be great if you could have taken profits at the resistance lah, right? But otherwise, if you have not taken profits at resistance, right, sometimes that's why, right, we always emphasize to, have your stop loss plan in place to also protect your profits, whereby we use this trailing support and resistance function. So if you have bought here, which, if you have bought here, prices went all the way up. And if you use a trailing support as a gauge, that we always say to protect your profits, right, we can use a trailing support, right? And you put it maybe 2 to 3 bits below. So if let's say you have bought at 45 cents and you put your trailing support, your stop limit order to protect your profits, a few bits below the trailing support, you probably right over here, right, you would have also still gotten out at least with a 6% profits, rather than going back to square one, then now become negative, right? So that's the whole reason why we always emphasize that, having a trading plan, it is important, right? And then also it is important to take actions to actually protect your profits. And that's what you can actually use, right? The trailing support function with this 1GT Pro indicator effectively to actually help you with that. Okay. So if you mentioned that, 84 cents you bought here, usually we wouldn't recommend to buy here already at this point in time. Why? Because number one, 20 days moving average is pointing down. Number two, we also got a 1GT bearish signal, right? So at this point in time here, usually we don't recommend, right? Because we want to make sure that the long-term trend, short-term trend are all aligned. But at this point, short-term and long-term tak match, right? Not tally, right? It didn't tally, and then that's not what we want to see, right? Ideally, we want to see long-term up, short-term also up, right? So at this point in time now, price is at 71 cents, right? But right, you should have already gotten out lah, right? To exit, you already should have already reduced exposure, so that at this point in time, you wouldn't already be stuck with a position and think of what to do next, right? So, but the key thing is, I think at this point in time, if you are thinking about averaging down and buying more, perhaps you don't want to consider that lah, right? Because a lot of you guys over here also say no, right? Also no, right? So the thing is that what we want to do now, perhaps, is to wait, right? To wait for more confirmation first, right? To wait for more confirmation before even thinking about taking another action. But by right, you should have already gotten out, because if it breaks below this level right over here, let me just turn this off, at 78 cents, right? This is another support level, right? So this support level, as you can see, from July all the way to September, this was actually a support level. Very recently, it broke below that support level and we got another 1GT bearish signal. And today, based on the current price action, you can see that price opened even lower than yesterday and is going down even further, right? I don't know whether today will actually close the candle in the green. I'm not sure, right? But just a quick check right over here on the latest updates, right? I can see that, I think there is also some news about the internal management of the company whereby, this guy is also stepping down. So that could also be a potential catalyst whereby, the price could go even lower, right? Plus the fact that we have multiple confirmation that this stock is not that great, right? It's not that great. So I think for Madeline at this point in time, think about, reducing some exposure, right? To reduce some exposure so that you won't be, sitting on huge unrealized losses. Because like what Joey mentioned earlier on, I also like to emphasize, right, is that even if you get out now, it doesn't mean that you cannot buy back in, right? Just example like that, we can see right over here, right? We got one JD bearish signal come out. A second one, if let's say you have gotten in here, right? If you have gotten in somewhere here, you got one JD bearish signal coming out. If you have gotten out here and you buy back somewhere here, is it too late? It's not too late, right? You can still actually enter after we get another confirmation, right? And you can see even if you got in a bit later, the second 1GT bullish signal come out to the highs, that is still more than 100% profits, right? So the thing is that it's never too late, and it's okay to actually, reduce some exposure, cut some losses if the trade doesn't pan in your way, because it doesn't mean that you cut loss really, you accept the loss, you admit defeat, right? There is always opportunities for you to get back in again, especially once we have more confirmation. And that's the whole key thing that we want. We want to have more confirmation so that we are on the right side of the trend, right? And that is the whole thing about the 1GD framework as well. Okay, Madeline, I hope that helps. Yeah, but at this point in time, I think like what other people mentioned, right? Perhaps try not to think about averaging down, right? But more of like reducing your exposure and try to redeploy the funds into other stocks that could, the long-term and short-term trend are actually aligned now. Okay? Yeah. And with that, back over to you, Joey, to cover the next stock.
All right, thank you so much, Z. I think very well shared, not just on the stock, but I think about the mindset as well, right? I think, in the previous stock where I covered, we talked about getting up is equally important, right? And I think this is something like the previous stock as well, right? About getting out, right? So you got in 84 cents, right? And started to turn down, we did not get out, right? And you see, many people have different opinions on the stock, right? So we talk about getting out is important, but now, not only about getting out, some are even thinking like negative, right? Nothing wrong, right? Most people want to do that as well, right? Some people are even thinking about buying more, all right? Some are getting out, but some are buying more, like totally opposite. One want to get out, one want to buy some more. Average down, well, cheaper, right? Go and buy some more, right? Go down some more, you buy some more, cheaper, right? But if you do that, right, then you're just throwing in good money over bad money that has already been sunken in, right? Just hoping that it will finally recover. I don't know when, right? Z also don't know when, right? When it happens, then we will know. But we cannot plan like next week, I think next Thursday, 3 p.m. it will recover for you. Then you go and buy first. 3:30 p.m. will reverse already. Nobody will know exactly when it will revert, right? Nobody knows, right? But the point is that once we get the confirmation of a reversal, then we think about getting in to run it back up. Right? If not, then we get out first. Don't even think about buying more, right? Of a stock that is just going lower and lower. Right, so that's one thing about the core belief, all right, of the entire one good trend strategy, even before we talk about anything about the one good trend pro indicator and what we have the 7-point checklist as well. All right, okay, now let's go ahead. So thank you so much, Z. Let's go ahead to cover the next one, and that would be by let's see, right, ABC, right? Singtel has gone up yesterday and today. What is a good level to buy, right? So thanks for giving me a bit of context. You are looking to buy. All right, and that's a good thing, because some people might be thinking, hey, it's gone up already, right? And some people might even think, hey, why your question really gone up, then why you want to buy, right? You should buy when you go down, not really go up. You buy like more expensive, right? It sounds a bit silly, right? But that's a good question, right? That's a good question, because even if it goes up, it might be more expensive, I agree, all right? But there still could be opportunities to get it, all right? So the question is about when to buy. Of course, not anyhow, but when to buy is actually a very good question, right? Because you are buying into strength. You're not buying into a stock that's going cheaper every other day, right? That one you carry on, I don't want, right? But you're buying into a strength. You're buying into a stock that has already proven itself in an uptrend, that has already proven that it has shown some signs of a reversal. You see what I'm saying, support? All right, and that's exactly what I'm saying for Singtel, right? Singapore Telecom. You can see, right? Let's go through very quickly, right? Pump. There we go. All the way up. I don't know how many percent, right? Rested. Got a bearish signal. Rest for a while. A bit boring, Pump. All the way up, right? And then another bearish signal rest for like maybe 1 month plus, right? Boring again. But it seems like over the past few days, in fact, yesterday, we got a new 1 GT bullish signal coming out. And today, it kind of like gap up already, like already went up, right? But yesterday, actually, we got a 1 GT bullish signal being triggered right over here as it actually attempted to break what we call the resistance at about $4.40. So since September, for about 2 months, right, we have been seeing selling just below the $4.40. Look at this, right? Come down, touch, come down, try to go up, and then come back down. And then you got bearish signal, and then you see the green line also turn down, right? So if you ask me in September, October, I would say wait first lah. I mean, haven't yet, right? I mean, it's just like going down, sideways, consolidation, right? So I'll say wait first, right? Wait for the confirmation. Wait for what? Wait for this law, right? Wait for this one, palm, right? This one here, palm, right? That is where you can think about getting in again when you get the confirmation. And finally, right, it seems like that confirmation has already come, right? We are starting to see signs of a reversal based on the bullish 1 GT signal that got triggered yesterday, right? Long-term trend, look at the red and blue line, that one has been up since last year. That one very easy to see, okay? Short-term trend, if you ask me in September, I would say wait first, because down, the green line is pointing down. All right, even Z that's not covered that one. Also, LHN also down, look at the green line is downwards, that one really pointing down all the way. Please don't go and buy an average down, all right? This one a bit down, right? But down means down, a bit, a lot, whatever is still down, right? So wait first, okay? Wait until maybe don't point down, wait until maybe sideways a bit, right? A bit point up, let's see whether now point up or not. No, it's pointing up, agree, right? If you ask me last week, I say it's sideways, but now if you ask me, the green 20 days moving average line has already started to point up, right? So that would be another confirmation that we are indeed seeing some signs of strength coming back, not just in the longer term trend, but also the short term trend. Does it make sense about? All right. And if you look at the candle yesterday, okay, that would be another confirmation, right? That is another kind of like the next few steps in our checklist, a little more advanced. But if you look at candlestick, yesterday actually presented a pretty good bullish candlestick. This is what we call a bullish Marubozu candlestick bar, right? It just means that buyers were totally in control yesterday as we attempted to break this $4.40 resistance level, whereby for the past 2 months, you every time touch and come back down, right? Yesterday, not only you break above, but you break above plus you come out one super good bullish Marubozu bullish candlestick bar. It means that, wow, you're like trying to fight through the resistance level, right? We break through and we close right at the day high. Let me open at the day low, the buyers keep on buy until 5 p.m. the market close, don't even give chance, right? It closed right at what price? I don't know. Close at the $4.50. Right? What's the high? The high is $4.50, which is the high. So you close right at the high, don't even like 1-2 cents, give them some chance. Never close right at the high. That is another bullish confirmation, right? In fact, one of the steps in our checklist as well from the 1 GT strategy. Right? And of course, today pump, you get up even higher, right? It went to like 460, 470. Right? So I would say that back to your question, right? What is a good level to buy? Well, that is definitely a stock in my watch list right now. Even though it has gone up, I would say this 450 would now be what we call a new horizontal support level right over here. So 450 psychological resistance level, 440, right? $4.40, 450 psychological resistance turn to what we call a support level. So potential entry could be, I'm not too sure exactly whether you'll go down and know where and when for you to buy, right? But any dips right over here, right? Any dips right over here. So you can see a bit of profit taking because it's gone up by quite a bit, near 480, normal to see some profit taking. But on dips right over here, 440, 450, 455, I would say 440 to 460 in this range. I'm not too sure exactly which, you will go down and then start to rebuy. I don't know, right? But anything in this zone, we call it the hot entry zones, could be a potential buy entry, especially if we do spot another new bullish candlestick coming out, right? 440 to even 460. You can see that's where some bargain hunting might actually come back already, right? And if we stay above the 440 to 450, guys, I think targets could be revised even higher, but could do a little bit of a projection, right? This was the kind of like the consolidation. We've broken up all the way up. All right, let's do a bit of projection upwards, maybe all the way to like 480 to let's just say about $5. That could be kind of like the next upside targets whereby some profit taking or selling pressure can come back again. All right, so this is Singtel, right? Not too bad. One stock that we got a new 1GD bullish signal, short-term trend starting to turn up. It seems like it's woken up finally after 2 months of just going sideways and down a little bit. We could potentially start to see this stock pushing higher and trying to find what we call a new higher target as well. Cool. All right. So that is for Singtel. Let me pass on the mic to Bervin for the next stock. Bervin, yours.
All right, thanks, Joey. Okay, let's see. Lisa, hopefully, Lisa, hi, good morning, or say good afternoon. Are you still here with us? Okay, so SGX short term is trending down but near to trailing support. Is it a good time to buy or wait further? Okay, let's see. Right now for SGX, I think SGX is one of those stocks that we really like as well. Let me just turn off this trailing support as well. Here, right, go. We actually see that, SGX has been pretty much been moving in a very textbook uptrend manner. Consolidate a little bit, consolidate within this range. You see right here. Okay, break up, consolidate, consolidate, break up. Okay, consolidate again, a little bit upwards, then consolidate again, and now we are in that next consolidation phase, and prices are in fact trading very close to a temporary support. I will place about that 1650 level. That could be where we can see buyers actually come in. As previously right here, we actually saw buyers actually come in. Right, buyers actually come in to push higher, closer towards that 1750 resistance level. So as you said, prices are trailing towards that trailing support grade. So that means we know that you are a 1GT Pro user. All right, 1GT Pro user, yes, it is coming close to that trailing support. I think right back on the 30th of October, that was when prices actually in fact came close to this level as well. 5th of November, we actually came close to this level as well. And we saw, again, buyers have actually came in. But here's the thing, like you have said, that 20 days moving average, yes, confirm, it is currently pointing down. So is it a good time to buy? Is it a good time to buy? The longer term trend definitely still looks good. Prices are still in a little bit of a consolidation phase, and we could see, something like that in the past are actually happening once again right here, where at this point prices were actually, or the 20 days moving average was in fact pointing down at that point of time. Okay, he's pointing down at that point of time, the 20 days moving average, and it then started to flatten out and then point up. So I think we should wait for something like that to happen again, so where we can see that 20 days moving average start to flatten, then maybe even point up, then I think it is a buy. But here's the thing, you do not want to buy close to that 1750 resistance level, because the next thing you see, the prices could be heading down again. All right, so I think one way you can actually strategically plan this out would be to actually place an alert above that 1750 level, maybe 1755, just to confirm that breakout level, and then yes, you'll be buying a little bit more expensive compared to what you're buying now, but at least by then you will see that 20 days moving average start to slope up. However, if you can also see, if prices consolidate closer to that trading support for a few days and then start to point up, you may see an entry closer to that 1650 buy zone that Joey have also previously mentioned. So I think this is a good level to actually watch out for. But I think for a longer term trend or the longer term view, that SGX is still on a uptrend. The longer term trend is still intact. So I think this begs the question, I think TF is also asking right here. Is there a time where averaging down is a good idea? Yes, actually, there is a time where averaging down is a good idea. When you see something like this, averaging down, when the 20 days moving average is still pointing down, you are averaging down from a point where prices just hit a resistance and pull back. You're not averaging down where you have a position and then the prices keep going lower and lower, they average down like that. No, you want to average down when you are actually in an uptrend. You want to do a little bit of bargain hunting, that's fine, but you do not average down when prices or the longer term uptrend has broken down already, then you start to buy in. No, I don't think that is a good point. So you want to actually, in this sense, it's more like you are going to be scaling into your wins, right? You're going to be scaling into your wins rather than trying to bring down your average cost price. Because I think ultimately you still have to take note that as long as the trend looks good, you can buy higher each time. But buying higher each time, you can also be patient when you're buying higher each time, and you buy upon a pullback close to a support level where it holds. So that would make much more sense, and it'll be a lot more better for capital preservation as well. Okay, so I think that is for SGX, quite a good stock. I think just in the nearer term, seeing a little bit of weakness pulling back close to a support, just to take note for that. All right, so now I'll pass the time to Z to cover the next stock for you guys.
All right, thank you, Berwin. Okay, so the next stock that I have here would be ST Engineering, right? So I saw a couple of you guys asking. So Jessie is asking about ST Engineering, whether to buy or wait. Then there's another Jessie also asking about ST Engineering, bought at 8.95. Now share price down, to hold or to cut. So it's like two sides. One is thinking about entering, the other one is have already, but don't know whether to hold or to cut loss because we are seeing some weakness. Right? Okay, maybe perhaps we can cover both sides, right? For some of you guys who are thinking about buying, what are some of the levels that you should note? Then for those of you who are, holding on to the position, what are some of the support level, right? The very key support level that you should take note of, to think about, taking some action if the support level is actually broken up, all right? Because this stock, right, we have covered this stock multiple times. Joey has also sent out note on this stock multiple times, right, since the start of the year, because this has been a very darling stock. As you guys can see, right, from January this year, right, we got a 1GT bullish signal come out and price went all the way up. I think, almost close to 100%. Right? But right now, over the past couple of months, it just seems like this stock is kind of like taking a break. It's like taking a breather, right? Because you cannot expect a thing to go up, constantly go up every day. You also be a bit scared, right? So at least the stock is taking a breather right now. And we can see some signs of weakness, right? Whereby there is some 1GT bearish signal coming out, and also, of course, the short-term trend, 20 days moving average, has been fluctuating just up and down, right? Within kind of like a range that we are actually seeing, and we'll dive into some of the levels in a bit, right? So the thing is that if prices, the longer term trend still looks good, and if prices can consolidate in the short term and it still holds above certain levels, right, support levels, and then it breaks above a resistance level, right, that's actually a good thing, right? Because it just means that the longer term uptrend, it is more sustainable. It goes up, prices goes up, consolidate, then break above even higher. That is a good thing, right? That's a good thing. Consolidation is actually not a bad thing, right? But then, of course, when the price is actually in a consolidation mode, it's consolidating sideways within a support and resistance, of course, we still have to take note of the support and resistance, right? Because if it consolidates and it breaks below a support, then that is where, you might want to be a bit more cautious, right? Because if you are holding on to a position, it breaks below a support, it just means that there's more selling pressure, and that's where perhaps you might want to reduce some exposure, right? It doesn't mean that you continue holding and hoping that you'll go up, right? Of course, you got to take some action and to also protect your capital, right? So now let's dive into ST Engineering, right? And let's take a look at some of the key support and resistance level that perhaps the both Jessie here, right, you guys can actually take note of, okay? So right now, price, right, you can see that it is, okay, now it's lunchtime. I think this one is a bit delayed, right? So it's at about $8.16, right? So $8.16 at this point in time, right? But right over here, right, you can see that I've actually drawn a support, right? A psychological support at $8. Why I drawn at $8 is because $8 is definitely a psychological level that I would say would be one of the immediate support level that I would want to monitor or watch out for, right? Because right over here, somewhere in June to July, this whole entire month, right, you can see that it's testing this $8, unable to break above it. And eventually, once it actually broke above it, right, we got a 1GT bullish signal, and price started to move all the way up. It started to surge all the way up to the resistance at the $9, right? So definitely $9, as you guys can tell, is also one of the very key resistance. Right over here, tested somewhere in August, one more time somewhere in October right here before we got another 1GT bearish signal. So very clear that $9 is the resistance. Immediate support, like I've drawn, will be at this, at this $8 level, right? $8 will be the immediate support. And the very crucial, I think the very, very crucial support level, right, after the $8 level, right, would be this $7.50. I'll say this $7.50, right? If it is broken, then definitely perhaps you might, if you're still holding on to a position, then probably that's where you want to think about, reducing some exposure and to redeploy the funds. Why? Because if prices were to break below this level, right, is the level that, it has broken above right over here. And since May, it has been holding above right over here, right? That is quite a sharp pullback, right? About 15%. But this was where buyers came in to step in to buy the prices and to support the prices, whereby prices rebounded back up very quickly to the $9. So I would say 750 would be the very crucial support level to take note of, right? If it broke and if it breaks below this 750, then potentially you might see more weakness returning back to this counter rate. Probably by then, your 100 days moving average, right, the red line may also start to see some signs of it pointing down, and that's not so good, right? That's not so good. Okay, so take note of this 750 as well, right? For those of you who are actually holding on to a position. And then for those of you who are thinking about, accumulating, right? To accumulate some position, because, SIA Engineering definitely is still one of the blue chip stock in the STI index, right? So what do we want to look out for? First thing, definitely, we want to look out for short-term stabilization, right? What do I mean by short-term stabilization? Now, what do we see? We see that, 20 days moving average, is it pointing out? Yes, it's pointing out, green line pointing out, right? What we want to see is to make sure that, the short term, at least there's some sort of stabilization whereby it actually goes sideways first before, we think about accumulating some positions, right? And of course, with that being said, at the same time, to monitor the $8 psychological level, because I don't know whether, the buyers will come back in at this $8 again to support the prices, right? So $8 definitely is one of the levels that I want to watch. But at the same time, to monitor and watch for the 20 days moving average for it to stop pointing down and at least taper out, right? To taper out, flatten out first before you even, think about accumulating, because you want to buy, can buy, but we also don't want to anyhow buy, right? We want to buy when we see more confirmation, right? So that's the key thing that I want to monitor for ST Engineering. And if prices, is able to support and hold above the $8 and head back up to, this $9 level right over here, right? I think definitely there is nothing wrong to actually take some profits at the $9 level, right? Because it is a resistance level, it's a resistance zone whereby we see at least a couple of times already, whereby sellers actually return near the $9. And if it can break the $9, then yes, targets can be revised higher to the $10 level, right? Based on a very simple projection range up. Okay, so I think we have covered both sides for those of you who are holding ST Engineering and for those of you who are thinking about entering ST Engineering, some of the levels and some of the price zones that you can think about and set some price alert to continue monitoring for this stock. Okay, so yeah, that would be for ST Engineering. But before I pass on the time to Joey, right, I think there's a question by Peter earlier on. So he said, when I mentioned stop loss setting a few beats, right, below. So I'm talking about bids, BIDS, not BIPS, right? So what do I mean by that is, okay, so for example, trailing support, right? We mentioned that we want to set stop loss slightly below the trailing support, right? Because why? Trailing support trails the prices as it moves up, right? As you guys can see right over here, prices move up. Trailing support also follow as it moves up. And what you essentially, when we are trying to do this, right, whereby you set your stop limit order slightly below the trailing support, one way is, of course, to cut loss, right? If price break below, not so good, right? You give it room to breathe, the price room to breathe, but break below, that's where you want to get out. And second thing that we always, we can use this trading support effectively, right, is to protect your profits, right? If you set your stop limit order, like I said, slightly a few bits below your trading support. So what do I mean by a few bits, right? General rule of thumb for Singapore market, you can set maybe 2 to 5 bits, right? So one bit, for example, for this ST Engineering, you can see that the price, right, always jump by what? 0.01, right? 78, 79, 80 cents, 81, 82, 83, 0.01. So every bit is 1 cent. Okay, for ST Engineering. So you got to see, because there are stocks that are below 20 cents, their bid size will be 0.001. If the stock is below $1 price range, the bid will be 0.005. So different stock prices have different bids. So general rule of thumb is that we want to set our stop limit order maybe 2 to 5 bits below the trading support. Give it a bit of additional room for it to breathe on top of the room that is being given by the trading support. Okay, so I hope that clears up your doubts in terms of the setting of stop loss. But at the end of the day, setting stop loss, we can effectively make use of this trailing support function right over here. All right. Yeah, I think I've covered the question already. And SIA Engineering for Jessies, right? The two Jessies over here. So back over to you, Joey, to actually cover the next stock.
All right, thank you so much, Z. All right, so yes, there we have it, guys. I think we have covered a total of like 12 stocks. We can do one more final round, right? Me, then Bobby and Z will cover like 3 more stocks. Let's just make it 15, right? And I think some of you are actually asking about the same stocks. Like I think Andrew, right, just joined 1GT trend on UOB. UOB was covered, right? UOB was covered already. Okay, I tell you what, why not let me just go ahead to, read through all the stocks they've covered right at the beginning. So, in case we have covered, guys, of course, we will not cover again now. So you can watch the replay. Like I think Michelle asking about Singtel. Singtel was covered by me, right? By me, right? So I'm not going to cover again. So you can watch the replay. So let me go to list out all the stocks that we covered today in our AMAS Singapore edition session. All right. So the very first thing I covered this morning was the Straits Times Index, Singapore's STI, right? And after that, I covered what we call the first stock for today. And the first stock that I covered was YZJ Financial Holding. So some of you are asking about YZJ Financial Holding. Well, that has been covered. That's stock number 1. Bervin covered UOB, number 2, right? Q&M Dental. I talk about OCBC as well, right? And then Bervin covered Capitaland Invest. Z covered Samudera Shipping, Seatrium, CSE Global, LHN. I talk about Singtel, right? SGX, SIA Engineering that Z just covered. And that would be a total of 12 stocks that we covered today. All right. So in case you're asking about the, like UOB and stuff, that was already covered. Singtel, all right, can buy more now. That was covered already, right? So you can check out the replay on the YouTube, maybe about 30, 40 minutes later after we end the live stream on YouTube, right? Okay, now let's go to cover one more stock. Let me go to share my screen right now. And that would be this company called Centurion. Who is asking about it, right? And I think some of you are actually asking about certain stocks, like, I can't say the names out, but if you're asking about certain stocks, right, and we never cover it, right, just to share with you guys that your stock may actually be the bonus stock that we want to cover at the end. Does it make sense, right? Because at the end, right, after covering 3 more, there'll be 3 bonus stocks that me, Bervin, and Z likes, whereby you can put it in your watch list for potentially more upside. So if you see your stock, that's what I want to cover, and then I won't cover again, not like 2 times, right? So maybe yours might be the bonus stock. So make sure you stay all the way to the end if you want to know what are the 3 bonus stocks, and hopefully maybe it's your one that you ask. Okay, now let's talk about Centurion. Who's asking about Centurion? Let me go to see. I think we have Madeline, right? Madeline. Centurion or downside lately, can buy at this level. Can buy or not? I think you're asking whether can buy, right? So very good. What do you guys think about Centurion, right? Just help me out. Maybe you can help Madeline out as well. I've helped you guys to help Madeline out, right? And, I mean, if I turn off, then you also don't know, but let me just, you see off, then I'm all blurry. Let me turn on, pump. Help me out, guys. What do you think Madeline should do? Can buy or not? Let's help me to reply, Madeline. Yes or no. Type B for buy. Type W for wait. All right. Type N for no. Let's help Madeline out here. All right. Can buy or not? Can buy at this level. Now, what price? Now is $1.37. Can buy or not? Go and buy now. 137. 138. Try a bit. Can buy or not? What do you guys think? Wait. Melina. Wait. No. Run. Wow, some run. Still run. Right? No. Right. Very good. Right? Wait. Okay, so a lot of people are saying, wait first, no first. And Melina, I hope you got your answer. All right, you got answer, right? And you can see that why is everybody, I'm glad that nobody say just go and buy now or what, right? But why is everybody having this consensus, right? Or this direction on what to do, right? Because basically you can see that, and I think you can see as well, like Madeline, we actually got what we call, not one, but we got 2 1GT bearish signal. The first one came out on July. That's quite long ago. July is like 2-3 months ago. Okay, the second one came out in September, also about 2 months ago. All right, so you can see that we actually have a couple of bearish signals coming out. All right, and of course, when we see bearish signal, that doesn't mean it's really crash and stuff, right? But the fact is that when we get a bearish signal, there are indeed some signs of weakness. All right, especially if the short-term trend turned down. Right, so when we got the first bearish signal, okay, it's still fine, right? Look at the green line, never go down, right? It was actually still okay, right? We were consolidating sideways from up, the green line turned down. All right, so if then you want to give it a bit of chance, I think it's okay, right? Because we're seeing a bit of resistance, maybe at about the 1 190, all right, 190 resistance level, right? So the green line was sideways. But when you get the second bearish signal, that one, then you know already, like you can see that now the green line, second bearish signal plus the green line start to turn down. Then you still there to buy, right? No matter what for you want to rush to buy when now you get another confirmation that it's really going down. And in fact, it really go down. You see what I'm saying so far? All right. So the point is that we don't rush into buying a stock that is just getting lower and cheaper, right? I think like Centurion on the downside lately. I think we covered a few counters, right? I think Z covered one of them as well, like LHNs, even STI Engineering as well. I mean, they were pretty good stocks. In fact, I would say for Centurion, one of the stocks that I shared with our clients in Philip Securities since last year. I mean, look at it. There was like August last year, April, wow, a couple of bullish signal. In fact, I think in April, May or so, I sent out a note as well. We got a couple of bullish signals coming out, all right? And each time after a bullish signal, pump, all the way up 49% in 2 months. Let's see over here, last year, August, pump, bullish signal, up 46% in 3 months. No problem now. That one you see a bullish signal, you can buy. I will say carry on, no issue lah. But now you see bearish signal, you can buy for what? Right? So don't buy all right? Right. So one thing I want to share, guys, is that in the market, right? I think some of you might have this kind of like itchy fingers, right? Like must buy something on that. Like don't care today, must somehow buy something. Don't need one, guys. Don't need to buy. Also don't need to buy one, right? Need to buy, then need to buy. There's no need to force yourself to like just buy something for the sake of buying something. Does it make sense, all right? And last time it used to be like that, right? Many years, more than 15, 20 years ago, when I first started, right? What you feel this one maybe, what if I missed it? What if I don't buy it? Tomorrow go back up? Then wasted already, right? No, right? Time to get in, you get in, right? You missed it, then missed it, whatever, right? But you don't have to be afraid that you need to get in something today, right? Because of FOMO, fear of missing out. No, right? When we see a confirmation right over here, when we see this green 1GT bullish signal, I don't know, it could be over here, it could be over here, it could be even lower, I don't know where, I mean, right? But when we see it, when we see that, plus some other confirmations like the short-term trend, the green line, right? Look at the green line, obviously it's still pointing down, all right? Can it still point down? Maybe down, I don't know. Maybe until here it start to go up, I don't know, right? But once you see the green line, maybe start to turn up plus a bullish signal coming out. Do you guys agree that that could be a confirmation whereby we might already start to see the reversal, like over here in May, like previously in January, like previously in August last year? Does it make sense about, right? That is what we want to look out for, all right? And that's where you could think about getting in again. All right, so Madeline, I hope that helps. I hope every of you here who are helping Madeline as well, thank you so much as well. I hope, Madeline, you get a better idea on this stock, Centurion. We don't want to get in first. You want to wait for the right time to get in when it comes. All right. And what you can do right now is to set an alert. Add alert, One Good Trend Pro. When the bullish signal comes out, I will be alerted by a toast notification, app notification. Even can send me email, but I think don't need so many. I think just a toast notification whereby there'll be a pop-up right over here. That is good enough for me. So let me just set it first so that when it happens, then I will know. All right, I will know. Let me just set it right over here. One Good Trend Pro, buy or sell alert. So any bullish or even another bearish signal come out, I will know about it, right? Pump, there we go. All right, so that is for Centurion. Bavin, back to you for the next Singapore stock.
All right, thanks, Joey. Okay, so second last stock before we go to our bonus stock. Okay, see. Xavier, not too sure if you're still here. I know your opinion on Mermaid Maritime. Bought it at 1815. Now it stays at 1260. Okay, great. Let me just pull up my screen right there. All right, so 18. 18, that means 18, that means you either bought back then in October of last year or in June of last year. Right, so I think you have been holding on for this stock for at least probably one over year at least one over year by now. And we can see, let's just take a look at the longer term trend first. All right, so previously, of course, when you bought, it was pointing up, great, no fault there. But after that, subsequently, we saw quite a few 1GT bearish signals that actually came in. All right, so I think we saw one here, prices came down, another one in February, prices went all the way to 9 cents. And I think right now we actually see that, hey, there's another 1GT bearish signal right here on the 17th of October. It actually came in. All right, so if we look at that 100 days and 200 days moving average, a little bit of a mixed signal, right? Because the 100 days moving average is pointing up, right? Crossover that 200 days moving average, a bullish crossover, but that 200 days moving average is still currently pointing down. All right, so and then that 20 days moving average previously was pointing down, tried to slope up a little bit, wasn't able to, and then now it's currently pointing down again. So at least, you're not thinking of buying lah. You're just thinking of what to do right now. I think right now we can see a little bit of a temporary support. I would say right around that 12 cents level, 12 cents, 0.12. Found a little bit of a buyers coming back in on the 22nd of October right here, tested it. We saw a little bit of a rebound, but we have an immediate resistance just 1 cent above it at the 0.13 level, right? 0.13 level. And if I very, very quickly turn on that trailing support and resistance, you can see that that trailing resistance is present. It's moving sideways. It's currently very close to that 0.35, 0.134. That is that trailing resistance. So I think right now, if we are able to continue to see Xavier, if the prices are able to consolidate very, very close to this 0.13 level like it is doing now, then a break above happens. Right, a break above happens. Great, good sign. You may see a 1GT bullish signal appear. Great. I think you can continue to watch and hold, because obviously we would like for you to have sold it long time ago, but you haven't sold it yet. So I think right now we want to try to preserve as much capital that you have left in this counter. So however, if prices break below, right, maybe say break below that 0.12 level, is it time to consider to reduce a little bit of the exposure, free up a little bit of that capital before it hits? If it hits lower back to that 9 cents level, then that losses would have been widened again. We have recovered a little bit of capital since April. Let's try to preserve whatever capital you have remaining. So let's set up an alert. Let's set up an alert above 0.13 and just slightly above that 0.12 level, 0.12 horizontal support level. That's where you want to be alerted that prices may be crossing the 12 cents level once again. All right, I think in the nearer term, maybe you can find a little bit of relief if new higher highs can be found. A little bit of it has been forming, but let's see if that can continue for Mermaid Maritime. All right, I think that's a very quick one. Hopefully that helps your longer term holding. All right, so pass the time now to Z to cover the last requested stock.
All right, thank you, Bervin. Okay, so last stock before we move on to our bonus section, right? Today, the last stock that I have over here will be from Styler, right? Styler, nice to see you here again. Okay, so you're asking about Keppel Reit. What's the likely trend? Your average cost price is at 94 cents. Can add more closer to the $1 or 1.01? Okay, let's take a look at this, right? For Keppel Reit definitely at this point in time, I believe all of you guys here, I think 280 of you guys here would agree with me that all three moving averages are pointing up. If anybody say that this is pointing down, please let me know. Maybe I need to get my eyes checked, okay? But I think everybody confirm will say everything is going up, right? It's very obvious. Green up, red up, blue up, okay? So trend, don't really have to talk about it. Definitely it hits all the checklist, right? Everything long-term, short-term up, right? The next thing is that, Styler, you mentioned that you bought at 94 cents, right? 94 cents. Now price is at $1.06. Definitely you are sitting on profits. You're in the green lah. You are definitely sitting on profits. And you are thinking about adding more, right? So I think this is exactly what Bervin has mentioned earlier on as well, right? To answer the person's question whereby whether should you average down, right? Average more. But I think in this situation, you are averaging up. And that's a good mindset to have, because why? First of all, we have all established that, the uptrend is pretty much intact, right? And you're already sitting on profits and you are thinking about adding more to increase your exposure, to add on more position, because the stock is still good and it's still trending up. So definitely that is a very good mindset to have. And that's what we want to adopt in terms of the 1GT mindset and the 1GT framework. All right. So now your question is whether should you add closer to around the $1 and 101 range, right? So let's take a look. at some of the support levels, right? So you mentioned about $1 and $1 to $1 that range, right? Right over here, yeah, I have also drawn one of my support level, right, at $1 because definitely is a psychological level, right? That I also want to monitor because this level, as you can see, it was actually being tested like as support and resistance a couple of times, right? Eventually, it broke above it, and prices is now still holding above that $1 level, the $1 psychological level, right? And on top of that, I already turned on the 1GT signals, right? We can see that there is a 1GT bullish signal that is actually still playing out. There's no bearish signal yet, right? And the target that I've drawn right over here, right, is at $1.10. And maybe you might ask, like, hey, how did I arrive at this $1.10? It's simply I just did a projection up from here to here, right? And here, this projection, why did I got this 90 cents? Previously, these 90 cents, as you can see, right here, somewhere in the last quarter of 2024, this level was tested as what we call a resistance, right? Then since then, prices cannot break above these 90 cents. Only somewhere in August, it break above and retested as a support level. So this 90 cents is also one of the support level that I've drawn, right? So based on this, we project it up. The next upside target that I'm looking towards, right, will be around this $1.10. So now we are thinking about whether to actually add on more position, right? And where, right? Then we can also turn on this trailing support to take a look, right? So Styler mentioned that you are thinking to add more closer to $1 and $1.01. I think somewhere around here, right? Which is perfectly okay, right? Why? Because it is at a support zone, right? It is near the $1 psychological support. And it is also like what we mentioned, right, near the trailing support as well. So around the $1 and $1, $1 and $2, $1 and $3, I think that's perfectly fine if you're thinking about, increasing a bit of exposure, accumulating on the dips, right, especially when price pull back to a support level for you to buy, right? And that's where you can actually have more exposure to this counter as well. And that's what we call as averaging up, right? Then potential upside targets, definitely, like I mentioned, we are looking towards the $1.10. So if prices can actually, come back down, enter already, right, and then rebound back up, right, to the $1.10. I think at this level right over here, there's nothing wrong for you to also, take some partial profits as well. Don't have to take all, but take some partial profits, right, at this resistance zone, right? Because the trend at this point in time, it still looks good, right? Especially if the longer term trend is still pointing up, then it's okay. I don't have to take full, right? Because if you take full already, then after that, why I never hold the stock to maximize my profits, right? But the other way that maybe Styler, what you can also consider to do, right, is based on the trailing support, make use of this trailing support, right, function effectively to continue to ride the uptrend as it moves up. Because I believe you remember, right, if prices continue to head up, this trailing support, right, will also move up simultaneously like so, right? And that is where you can place your stop limit order and continue to follow the trailing support level to protect your profits and ride the uptrend at the same time. Okay, Styler, I hope that helps. I think at this point in time, your mindset definitely is on the right side. It's correct, right? Because that's what you are thinking, averaging up, right? And based on the trend at this point in time, it is definitely still looking good for Keppel. Okay, so yeah, with that, I think that will be the last stock for today, AMAS. Back over to you, Joey, to cover the bonus stock for today.
All right, thank you so much, Z. And there we have it, guys. That was the last stop for today, and very good one, Tyler. Right, I'm very happy that at least now it's slightly different from some of the stocks that other people were asking about in terms of like going and buying more when it's going down, right? But for you, very good mindset. I want to affirm you for that because now as it moves up, you are actually looking to add more, all right, to scale into your winners, all right, because you went up already, right? But you can think about buying more. That's a good thing because, and in fact, that I would say would be quite uncomfortable, right, for most people because it's like you got in and you go up some more, you can buy a bit more expensive. It looks a bit like, what are you going to buy, right? But that's exactly how you have this shift in the mindset that keeps you from just becoming going on the wrong side of the market. All right, Ken? Okay, now let me go ahead right now to cover the very first bonus stock for today. All right, and I think there's some questions, right? Let me go to answer some questions first. Andrew, just checking, right? You also sent out bearish signal for popular stock like Centurion, which was highly recommended earlier, right? So very good. So basically, guys, as a VIP client of mine in Philip Securities, right? That is where we actually send out some of those top ideas, Singapore ideas, market updates, articles, videos, on a daily basis by WhatsApp for free, right? So that's where we share kind of like, stocks which are strong, right? We are kind of like focusing on strong stocks, bullish signals, plus a few other confirmations, but not really on stock which are bearish and then going down and plus bearish signal. We will not want to do that, right? Because we don't want to cause the price to go down even more, right? So what we do is that we only share pretty much strong stocks. All right. So as I say, if you are not yet the client of mine in Philip Securities, you're not getting our daily updates, ideas by WhatsApp, check it out. The link is right in the chat. Team, just place the link in the chat again, right? Find out how you can become a client of mine in Philip Securities for free at no additional cost. All right. You need a trading account to trade, right? So if you are trading somewhere, you don't get any ideas, you don't get any videos, nobody WhatsApp you, nobody call you, nobody talk to you. All right. It's just like a hotline. You just log into a mobile app or online website, own self buy, own self choose and become one stock. Click on the link, find out more. All right. Check out what some of our clients are saying before filling up your name and your details. My team will reach out to you. Cool. All right. Okay. Now let me go ahead to cover the very first bonus stock for today. All right. Sorry. One more question. All right. How are the signals calculated? Aki Taishi. Wow. This question. How are the signals calculated? So basically, this question is about the whole entire strategy. So you can see, guys, today we don't have time to cover the whole strategy and break it all down in terms of the 7-step checklist and all that, right? So if you want to find out a little bit more about the entire 7-step checklist, what you could do is to attend a free webinar, right? So we don't have any webinar, guys. The last one just happened like 3 days ago on Tuesday. So there's no more other webinars planned for the year. But team, just place the link in the chat again, all right? If you would like to find out more, you can attend the free webinar. We don't do this every other month. It's not really my full-time job, right? I'm just trying to teach what I can. But the next webinar will be like in like January or something next year. All right. So just place the link in the chat, right? Click on it. You'll come to this page. Let me see exactly what is the date of the next webinar that we have planned to learn a little bit more on the strategy. All right. Right over here. There we go. On the quite long, 6th of January 2026. Right. Yeah, that's it. No more. No December, no November. That's it, right? So hopefully you can learn something. Then in 6th January, go to enter your name, email, contact number, phone number, and register for this OneGT, the One Good Trend webinar, whereby I'll share with you guys on the entire strategy and also how do we actually filter and sieve out the top 1% of hit list stocks in seconds, right, before knowing exactly when to buy and sell them, right? That will be shared in this webinar, 6th of Jan 2026, right? Link is right in the chat. Okay, let's go ahead to the very first bonus stock, all right? Let's see. Jared, another question. Sorry. Want to know the 7 steps? Buy the book. Exactly. But unfortunately, guys, we have sold out the book as well, right? We do not have any other books, right? I mean, basically about 3 weeks back, we did a book launch. We have sold out. There's no more other books. But you can be on our wait list as well to get the One Good Trend Secrets book to be on the wait list. So team, just place the link in the chat again, right? So quite a few questions. So we have to answer your question. Place the link in the chat whereby you can wait list yourself so that when we get the second or third batch of books printed again, that's where we will let you know, and you can secure your book as well for the One Good Trend Secrets book. All right, link is right in the chat. Click on it, and that's where you'll come to this page. Let me just show you, right over here, just to answer Jared's question, right? Right over here, this is the page. Right, all copies of One Good Trend Secrets are sold out. Yes, this is the book right over here, guys. And it's kind of like sold out, right? We don't have any other books printed. We sold out in hours. We did a live launch on the 18th of October, 6 hours went live. Click on the button, enter your name and email. Get alerted when we get more copies printed again. We will let you know, right? But this is pretty much the page. The link is right in the chat, right? All copies sold out, unfortunately, right? Huge response. I couldn't expect it as well, but just join the priority wait list in order to get the book, and that's where we actually kind of like break it down for you a bit more as well. Cool. Okay. Finally, can we go to the bonus stock already? Right. Hopefully, no more questions. Okay. I think let's go ahead to look at the bonus stock. And in fact, a lot of you, some of you were actually asking about this stock, right? Joseph, can you advise on Bumitama Agri? Yes, that would be pretty much the first bonus stock I'd like to share with you guys today, and that will be Bumitama Agri, right? So bonus, Joseph, I saw your question, but there we go, right? Yours is actually the bonus stock. That's why I did not want to cover it just now, but you mentioned that you bought at 135, okay? 21st October. Is there any potential upside? Okay, let me just remove this, right? And this is Bumitama Agri, the first stock of today, right, in terms of the bonus stock, whereby you could put in your watch list for more upside. So this stock, to be honest, right, we have actually shared with our clients in Philip Securities a couple of months back. I'm not too sure exactly where. I think if I'm not wrong, about here in August, maybe somewhere over here or here. Those who are clients, check your WhatsApp, probably receive a note from me when I was over here. But even before that, slightly earlier, we actually got but two pump, 1GT bullish signal. And I think it really woke up when we saw the second 1GT bullish signal right over here, all the way up to now 85%, right? In about 4 months. 85% in 4 months, right? Type 85, guys. Type 85 in the chat if you are okay with 85% in about 4 months, right? Not 4 years, 4 months. Type 85, guys, in chat if you're okay with 85% in about 4 months. Let me know, guys. All right, 85%. Does it sound okay for you? All right, just based on the second 1GT bullish signal. What do you guys think? Type 85 in the chat if that sounds pretty impressive, right? 85%, right? 85, 85, right? I think it's pretty good, right? But the thing is that doesn't mean 85% means, wow, a lot better sell already, right? What if you're going to come down already, right? No, right? Because when it was 60, people also say, wow, a lot. When it was 40, people also say a lot. Now 85, right? After can be 100, 120, 150, I don't know, right? But the point is that doesn't mean 85% means a lot, means you just sell and take profit, right? What if you can go up some more, right? What if there's still more legs to the rally? Should we ride further until we see signs of weakness, until we see a bearish signal coming out? Does it make sense, about? Have or not? Don't have, right? So still okay lah. You see what I'm saying, about? All right. So we sent out a note to our VIP clients in Philip Securities, pump, went all the way up. And this stock is still in my watch list, all right? And I would say that it looks pretty good. Why? Well, 3 bullish signals, long-term trend, obviously the red and blue line is up. I think all of you know that. The green line, well, it was flat a little bit in September. It was taking a rest for like 3 weeks. We got another 1GT bullish signal coming out on the 7th of October to be exact. Pump. The green line started to turn up. There we go. All the way up from 120 now to 141. Okay. So you've gone up a bit more, right? From the very first and second 1GT bullish signal. So I'll say that right now, obviously you can see the green line is still pointing up. We would have found what we call a horizontal support. Let me try to draw it for you. I think somewhere over, let's just put maybe right over here. I would say about 135 to 137. Look at this, right? Over the past 2 weeks, it seems like there's some bargain hunting coming out as we approach the 135, 136, 137, 138 lah. Does it make sense, right? That's where we got some bullish candlestick whereby buyers starting to come out and buy on dips, right, and push prices back up. So 135 could be, I would say, a horizontal support level that we are seeing over the past 2-3 weeks. And in fact, that's where the 20 days moving average line is as well. That offers a little bit of a dynamic support level. Make sense? The resistance level will be none other than the $1.50. So for the past 2 weeks, well, it's like maybe turning a bit boring, a bit sideways. So I think it's okay, let it rest a bit. Like previously it was resting, right? But after what happened, pump, all the way up again, right? So it's like resting for 1-2 weeks again. I don't know whether 1, 2, or 3 or 4 weeks, but it's a bit of resting right now, right? From 135 to about 150. So the question is this, right? If it breaks the 150, I don't know when, but if it breaks what, like over here when it broke the 120, right? Like over here when it broke the 85 cents, right? What happens? Could that be the next leg of the upside? You see what I'm saying so far, right? So we are taking a breather right now, right? A bit of a rest, short-term trend intact. But my take is this, I think if the $1.50 level gives way as a psychological resistance level, we would even see a new 1GT bullish signal. Right? And that could lead the next phase of upside all the way maybe to the next target about 170 or maybe even to that 180. If that happens, right? I'm not too sure exactly when it happened, but if that happens, we get a new bullish signal, even more bullish. You see what I'm saying so far? All right. So this is the first 1GT, I would say, the first bonus stock for today. Bumitama Agri, not too bad. We have sent out a note to our clients a couple of months back. Still looks good. All right, and you guys want to put it stock in your watch list, right? So as I say, if you want to get some of those ideas much faster daily by WhatsApp, check out the link. It's right in the chat, right? I think this place the link in the chat. I think it's like probably hidden somewhere again, right? So place the link in the chat. Find out how you can become a client of mine in Philip Securities to get alerted to stocks like this on a daily basis for free at zero additional cost. You do not pay anything more. Just to be 100% clear, right? You pay whatever you're paying when you're trading anyway, same right? But the question is that, is your broker doing anything, right? If nobody do anything, then you click on the link and find out more Can, and also see what our clients are saying, right? Don't need to believe me, see what my clients are saying, right? The link, all the details on the page. My team will reach out to you once you have, submitted your application. Cool. All right. So that is Bumitama Agri. I hope you found this stock valuable. You can put it in your watch list and potentially think about positioning yourselves in it as well. Let me pass on the mic to Bervin, all right, to cover his Singapore bonus stock for today. All right, Bervin, all yours.
All right, thanks, Joey. Okay, let's go. My bonus stock for today will actually be something that I have already actually covered previously as well. Just saw a little bit of up move, so we thought we would continue to cover it. Right, so my bonus stock will be Keppel Corp. Right, BN4 is the code, and we actually see that its prices have pushed break above that $10. All right, we are in the next leg of that uptrend. I mean, I think Keppel Corp did not do as well as Bumitama Agri. We take that first one GT bullish signal, draw it up to today only 68% compared to Joey's 85% on Bumitama. But ultimately, 68% still a very good profit, right? From April to today, that is about a 7 months for a 68% profit. I think it is still very, very fair, right? So I think right now we are still seeing that the 20 days moving average is still pointing up above that 100 days and 200 days moving average. All signs pointing to that longer term momentum and shorter term strength are all still intact, right? So just by doing a little bit of projection, if you guys have been following us right here from $9.50 to about $10, bringing up right now, let's have the immediate resistance drawn to about $10.50 first, right? $10.50 first. For those of you who have gotten in earlier on when we saw that one GT bearish signal, bullish signal, you may want to just turn on that trailing support and start moving your stop limit orders up. Start to protect those profits, especially if you're running it since April. You want to start to be protect a little bit of those profits in case we see that $10 psychological level actually give way and prices start to weaken towards the $9.50 level. We will still be getting out with very, very good profits. All right. So let me just draw it from here to here up to the trailing support. That is still a 60% upside or 60% growth already. So I think right now, if that 10.50 level is able to give way or we see a break above that 10.50 level, just by doing another projection, I think very clearly we will test that $11 psychological resistance by then. So I think right now, Keppel Corp could expect a little bit of a sideways consolidation for a while because prices have been pushing higher since 17 October. Nothing wrong to see a little bit of sideways consolidation for that healthy uptrend, right? So I think for Keppel Corp, we'll still continue to be on our watch list. Is one of those stocks that we are monitoring very closely towards the end of the year. All right. So if you haven't had it on your watch list just yet, you may want to finally put it into your watch list. See if you are able to, position yourself for an entry, right? If prices approach that $10 support level towards that buy zone again, you may potentially want to get in as well. All right. So that is my bonus stock for today, Keppel Corp. I'll pass the time now to Z to cover the last bonus stock for today. Z?
All right, thank you, Bervin. Okay, so the last bonus stock, right, that I would like to share with you guys today, that will be none other than SIA Engineering, right? And I think I saw one of the comments by Colin, right? Colin, hi Joey King. Oh, Joey actually upgraded. Colin actually upgraded your status to King, or maybe it's a typo. I don't know. But what SIA Engineering, right? I mean, we didn't cover your stock earlier on because it is the bonus stock for today, and it's definitely one of the very good and healthy looking stocks that is definitely still in our team watch list, right? But you are saying that you bought at 320. Right, you are looking for levels to take profit for year-end holiday. Yeah, we are approaching the year-end already, right? Take profit, then maybe you can go and travel, right? Then that is some of, I mean, it's definitely a legit question to ask, right? And today, right now, let's dive into it and see what are the levels, right, that perhaps you can take note of. Maybe that's where you can take some partial profits, right? Don't have to take full, maybe take partial profits, then go and enjoy yourself at the end of the year with your family, all right? So, okay, let's take a look at SIA Engineering right now. Okay, so right now, SIA Engineering, the longer term trend, first up, right? Red and the blue, both are actually pointing up. And the green line, let's focus on the short-term trend now. Green line initially, you know, right over here, we can see that it was actually consolidating sideways, going sideways. After that, we got two consecutive 1GD bullish signal. Price went up, and then it kind of like taper sideways again. But if I were to zoom in, can you guys see that the 20 days moving average has started to show a bit, show some signs of it, at least not going down. It's like pointing up very, very ever slightly, right? And that is actually a good sign, coupled with just yesterday, right? We got another 1 GT bullish signal. So total, right, we got 1, 2, 3, 3 consecutive 1 GT bullish signal that is actually still playing out, right? And on top of that, based on the support and resistance, you guys can see, right, prices have kind of been consolidating sideways since, you know, June all the way to October, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, at least about 4 months, right? Just moving sideways within the range of about $3 to $3.30, right? And then subsequently, from September all the way to, let's see, September all the way to somewhere in November, right? Mid of September or end of September all the way to November, right? Prices was kind of like also going sideways a bit, right? Tapered out, you know, 20 days moving average tapered out. It's just kind of going sideways, also within a 30 cents range, right? This 330 to about 360, right? And now, just yesterday, price broke above this 360 resistance, right? And now price is about $3.66. Is it above the 360? Yes. That's the reason why I changed this 360 to become what we call a new higher support that's being found, right? So the next upside that we are looking at, where can it be, right? If I were to project this 30 cents range that it has been like, you know, trading, especially when it's consolidating sideways, right? You move it up, it's about 390, right? 390. But why I draw at $4 is because $4, right, is actually a psychological level. And you guys always remember, right, that, you know, when we talk about a resistance level or support level, it's always a zone, right? It's never a fixed point, because like maybe I draw at 390, maybe Joey could be drawing at 395, Mervin could be drawing at 398. So it's always a zone, right? It's always a zone. Everybody, the support and the resistance will be around that zone, right? So that's why I put it at like $4, right? So 390 to $4, I would say that right over here could be one of the potential resistance zone whereby you can consider to take some profits as well, right? But I would say at this point in time, prices just break above, right? And we are seeing so many positive bullish signals and signs, right, that the uptrend is very much still intact, right? So maybe Colin, at this point in time, I think I would want to continue to let my profits run, like, and to maximize my profits, right? Because all of the signs still shows that SIA Engineering still looking pretty good, right? And if prices can hold above this 360, so very important thing is it must be able to hold above this 360 new higher support level for us to see another leg up towards the $390, $4 range, whereby that's where you can potentially think about taking some partial profits, right? Don't have to take full, right? Because if you take full already, after you take already, then why I take all my positions, right? And now I have nothing to continue to ride it further, especially so when the trend is still looking pretty intact. All right. So for those of you who are thinking about, adding positions, or, even thinking about entering a position, right? I think right over here, this would be one of the zones that definitely we want to be looking at and setting some price alert, right? Because this would be what we consider as like a breakout strategy, right? Because price break out above the resistance, 360, whereby it has been consolidating sideways definitely for 1 month, right? And if prices is able to consolidate like this before breaking out the $4, right, even better, right? Even better. That makes the uptrend even more sustainable, right? So for those of you who are thinking about entering, then perhaps this is where you want to set some price alert within this zone, right? About the 360, right? Maybe you can set price alert at 360, 361, 362, multiple price alert here to notify you to take a look at this stock, right? But more importantly, we want to see if price is able to firmly hold above this 360 level first. Okay, so those are the two zones that perhaps some of you guys might want to monitor depending on whether you are holding onto a stock or you're thinking about entering. But definitely overall, SIA Engineering, this stock is still definitely on our team watch list, and we are also monitoring very closely. And last but not least, one thing to note, one small thing is that on Tuesday, 11th of November, you guys can see right over here that SIA Engineering is giving out dividends. So there could be some dividend adjustments because sometimes when company give out dividend, the price might drop a bit depending on how much the dividend is actually given on that day. All right. So that's just a small info at the side for you to take note. But otherwise, SIA Engineering definitely still looking good. Okay. So with that, back over to you, Joey.
All right, thank you so much. And there we have it, guys. These are pretty much the three bonus stocks for today, right? The very first bonus stock that I covered would be that of Bumitama Agri, right? Bumitama Agri, and then Bervin covered on Keppel, right? And Z finally covered on SIA Engineering, all right? So these are some stocks that we have, kind of like shared for our VIP clients in Philips Securities over the past few months. They still look good. We have new bullish signals being triggered again, so you might want to put them in your watch list as well. All right, and that's it, guys. Thank you so much. How many of you got value today? Type of V for value, guys. If you got value today, all right, let us know. If you got value today, you learned something about the strategy. Type of V for value, right? Just want to make sure that all of you got value today. Let's see, right? How many of you have learned something, especially if we covered your stock? Let's see, right? David, value, Styler, Lightfoot, Jared, thank you so much. Value. All right, very good. So I'm glad that all of you got value over here. All right, so do join us the next Friday, and that's where we will be diving back into the US market. Thank you so much, Vincent. Have a good weekend as well. Yes, thanks for all the sharing. Appreciate all your kind words. Value, Gurmit. A lot of these. Awesome. Anything to add, Bervin and Z? I mean, for today's session, I don't know what can anybody prepare for.
I think in the coming weeks there are still some REITs, especially if you're holding some REITs. There's some REITs that are still going to be releasing earnings. So yeah, just pay extra attention. I think at least towards the end of mid of November. At least I think that is when the earnings seasons will be over. If you're trading the US market, I believe it's a little bit shaky more recently. So just be a little bit more cautious, especially if you are tech heavy in your portfolio. All right, so everybody, I think that is all for today. I wish everyone a great weekend ahead.
Yeah, right. Have a good weekend. Have a good weekend, guys. And one final note, right? One final note before we end off. I think I saw one question is like, how do you get the indicator and test drive it again? I think the link is all the way hidden on top. Just place the link in the chat one last time. You can test drive my one good trend light indicator for free. Let me just go to share with you guys the screen again right over here. I think I mentioned just now very quickly, but this is the link to find out more, right? You can test drive the one good trend light indicator. It's a simpler version, right, of the pro indicator right over here. All right, so that's where you could be alerted on when to get in and get out, right? Like what we did just now when we turn it on, you guys actually help us to advise some of our audience over here as well, right? So that's how you can test drive the one good trend lights indicator. Matter of seconds, turn it on and off, get a few other confirmations, and you get $3,997 worth of training just to test driving this. All right, so all the details are right here on this page. Click on the link in the chat, and I look forward to share more with you guys on the inside as well. All right, so that's it, guys. Have a good weekend. We'll see you guys next Friday on AMAS. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.